Hello everyone and welcome to the GeoGuessr World League. I'm Toby, joined by Gelotris. And Gelotris, to kick things off, as usual, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. The weather's getting better. We have another Sunday. It's GeoGuessr time. I'm joined with you here. Everything is going great. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, the weather has been increasingly improving in Denmark as well. So therefore, it's amazing that we get to sit inside all day long and do some esports, because this is what it's all about. It's GeoGuessr. We don't want to go outside, actually. We just want to sit inside and act like we are outside. At least that's how GeoGuessr works. As we get today's games going. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, welcome, first of all. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the esports, the leaderboards, and all that going on, let's first take care of this. Let's first explain exactly how GeoGuessr works. That way we are sure that everyone is up to speed on everything. And it's really straightforward. You get plopped down somewhere on planet Earth via Google Street View, and then it's up to you to figure out where you are. Then you put down your pin, and the closer you are to the correct location, the more points you can get, at a maximum of 5,000, being the 5K, if you're within 100 to 150 meters. Yeah. And that then, depending on how close your opponents and your guesses is, the opponent takes damage if your guess is closer. But of course, we have some game modes, various game modes to play this game in as well. So Gelotris, please, do explain how this works.
Of course, with a pleasure. There are 3 game modes how you can play GeoGuessr, and that's also how the players in this league play it. They start off with a moving game where you can, from the spawn, move around, look at clues, and jump from image to image and gain a little bit more info. Look at signs, look at different architecture, look what's around the corner, and all that. And then they play a no-move game, where you are stuck on your position, you spawn in, you can look around, make a 360, look up and down, and both players will pretty much see the same thing. And if we don't have a winner by then we are jumping over to the NMPC mode, which is just a still image. Both players get an image, they can't look around, they can't move, and only have to guess based on this image.
Exactly. Those are the 3 game modes that we work with. Also, we have for ourselves a lovely point system. You see them here on screen. Move, no move, NMPC. And here are the point system. All these matches that we're watching today that has been going on the last many weeks is best of 3s, meaning once you get yourself 2 wins, you effectively win the matchup. Now, if you win 2-0, you get 3 points. If you win 2-1, you get 2 points, and your opponent gets 1 for the round that they won. And with that here, we can see the leaderboard, how things look coming into today. As you can see in the top right corner, we are in week 18 of 21. So Gelotris, it's nearing the end. Things are getting very, very interesting as we get close up to that week 21. And any big surprises to you as we look at the leaderboard here?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, if I look at this list, of course, there are some players where you expect them to be maybe a little bit higher, maybe some overperformed, but overall, I would say this really represents their skill level. Of course, some did underperformance. There's the pressure in this. There's another environment and all that does involve in your performance, of course.
Also, it's important to mention that looking at the points, not so much the placements where the teams are sat. In 31st, we have Karania at 41 points. If he goes out today, let's say, and wins 2 matches 2-0, he could be in 20th. He could skip the entire 3rd column and go up and sit tied with Clement. Yep, so even though it looks like you're far down the leaderboard, with still, 4 weeks left to play, it's it's still possible for a lot of these teams to move a lot around, or players to move a lot around.
You are right. I mean, if we look at Clement and Eamonn on 20 and 22, just 1 point off each other, and they play today.
I mean, look at 46 points, right? You say Eamonn, but all the way down to malfunction. They're all at 46 points.
Yeah, there's really not much room.
Yeah. It's tricky, but here we see, of course, where this leaderboard ties in, because these guys are all trying to make it through to their respective regional majors, and of course, in the end, through to the World Championship. But first is the EMEA Majors, Americas Majors, and APAC Majors. And so far, you can see here that their respective first places are Zigzag, Radu, and Blinky. Can't really be too surprised by that, I suppose.
Nope. As we already talked about the positionings, especially on the top, I would say.
Yeah.
That's something. I mean, Deborah really catched up there. Deborah really had very, very strong weeks lately. He didn't start off that strong into the league, but he really locked in. I think he also mentioned it in the interview last week.
Exactly.
He sat down and locked in, and apparently that worked out for him.
Exactly. Here we see the schedule for today's matches that we will be seeing. We're starting things off with Lero against Malfunction, then into Strefan versus Spaghetti. Then you can see down the line a lot more interesting matches coming your way. Now, the matches that we don't stream here, I'm pretty certain there will be co-streams taking place, so you can hop on over and watch those on Twitch, on YouTube, wherever they up to stream. I don't have the names in the specific channels, but hop into the GeoGuessr category here on Twitch, and you should be able to find the other matches being streamed somewhere. I know that at least YouTubers, whenever you aren't casting, are always there to do streams, and many other streamers do so as well. So they should be there if you have any matches in particular that you really want to see. Any matches here to you, Gelotris, that you're specifically excited for?
That is correct. I was looking at this list, of course, earlier, and I really couldn't pick out one specific game based on the matchup. Based on the points, as I said, Eamonn and Clement are very close to each other, but that's really with a lot of matches in this league.
Yeah.
A lot of matches where you really can't make a prediction here as well. So therefore, I don't think there's really one match to pick out. It's all gonna be gonna be interesting in their own way, I feel like.
Definitely. We see a lot of the mid-pack teams that we'll see playing today, which really, I mean, as much as we want to see Blinky out on top and some of these top global players, world champion players play, these guys are the ones that have a whole lot to play for in these matches today and in the next couple of weeks as well, because they want to make it into that top spot. We saw before on the regional leaderboard how close EMEA is. There's 3 players sat on 46 points that all want to make it in to the regional final, so it's going to be incredibly close how things are gonna finish on up. So you can see a lot of GeoGuessr coming your way today, and if that's not enough for you, we have double the amount of GeoGuessr coming your way tonight, or well, I should say the same amount, making it double. Yep, whatever, you know what I mean. We have even more GeoGuessr coming your way tonight, so if it's too early for you to stick around now, don't worry. In just about, or actually exactly 7 hours on the spot, there'll be more GeoGuessr. So fear not, you are taken care of. GeoGuessr Sundays are here, at least for the next 4 weeks. And what better place to be, Gelotris? I mean, you get to just dedicate your entire Sunday to GeoGuessr.
That's how it is. That's how it is. I mean, been around the community for a long time now. It's been 4, almost 5 years, and I would say we are on the peak right now.
Oh yeah, and the peak is only peaking harder. I feel like every time we think, okay, now we can't get bigger, now it can't get better, right around the corner comes the next big tournament, comes the next big match even between 2 players, and we get highlight moments on highlight moments. I mean, sometimes new coverage comes in, and that creates hype moments too. There's always things happening. It's ever evolving, the GeoGuessr esports. And to you guys in the community as well, we see it massively in the Twitch following too. Every single broadcast we hit new follower goals. So amazing to see that the community is not only as big as it is, but also literally by every single stream increasing massively. It's lovely to have so many dedicated people here watching and having a good time with us playing GeoGuessr. But now, let's get into the first match. Let's get this one underway. It's Lero versus Malfunction. And Gelotris, being the pro that you are, please talk to me about these two.
Yeah, I mean, we have Malfunction as a moving main, I would say very, very strong on moving. That's how Malfunction really came into this league. Everyone was saying, Malfunction, yeah, she really has to perform on moving because that's her favorite mode. But I would say she also won a lot of no-move and NPC games as well. So a little bit surprising there, but that's great to see. Whereas Lero is more a no-move and an NPC main, I would say. Not really a moving main. That's how it is with most Australians as well. I don't know, they have it in their blood.
Yeah, could be. Could just be. Game has started. Match 1 is underway. First round takes us to Milan, and you can see Lero Trying to put pressure on against Malfunction here with a very, very quick guess, but Malfunction ain't to be pushed around. Finds it easily and sends Lero down just around 800 health, now coming into round 2.
That's exactly what happened. We are in Japan now. With those poles and the reflectors, which give away the country pretty quick. But those poles also contain more information as where in the country you are. They are regional, so therefore we see both players ending up pretty close to each other. Both in the same prefecture, not prefecture, but in the same region of Japan, but different prefectures.
Yeah, Lero defaulting to go Nagoya, but maybe not quite so. It was a very qualified position in the middle of everything. As we get into, or I should say in between train tracks here, over towards North America we go. Last week, I mean, when Siggy and I was casting, it was all, I want to say exclusively North America. We had so many Canada and US rounds, it was absolutely insane. We'll see if today is going to be similar, or maybe we get another continent with some overrepresentation.
Yeah, I mean, the US is very big. You have very dense coverage for how huge that country is. Because with countries like Russia or Brazil, yes, they are big as well, but in terms of coverage density and how much Google images you find in that country, I think no country is getting as close as to the US.
We need more Brazil Amazon forest trekker coverage. We need the entire Amazon covered by trekkers. That's the mission for the years to come as we head into round number 4. Scores somewhat even. Lero, full speed plunk into France, putting it right in the middle. Let's see where Malfunction ups to go.
Yeah, I mean, France is a very difficult country to play in terms of moving. You have a lot of signs, but most of the times the signs aren't that helpful. And Lero decided to just go middle, play by the chance of being somewhat close, and it did work out. Yeah. Malfunction did try a little bit of a region guess. That can be tricky sometimes, especially in France.
It's rare that you see the person who is, I mean, trying to put pressure on, also being the one out victorious. They're usually a bit behind coming into the latter rounds and then end up coming out victorious with a big round. But here, despite kind of just center plonking it every round, Lero has actually been able to get some pretty good guesses in. As we now go into round number 5, what are you seeing here?
I do see a Turkey, and I think we are in the Hatay province, which is the pocket that's bordering Syria and Lebanon. No, not Lebanon. I mean, north of Lebanon. Between Syria. That pocket is the Hatay province. You get this mountain range along the water there. I mean, that's my vibe, at least. I didn't see any useful information on either side. So if they have the same vibe, which Malfunction does, I really like that guess.
The more they zoom in, usually the closer they are. She jumps one bay over. Oh, should have stayed. Had the 5K lined up.
Yes,
this could have been game. This would have been game.
Yep, there could have been a lot more damage. Especially with the mountain range. I mean, you have the mountains on both sides. I don't blame her for that. But especially with that pickup truck coverage, you see it a lot down the coast.
Well, Lero looking to go Nairobi. First time we see Malfunction quicker on the switch here, putting pressure on Lero, opting to go a bit further towards the northeast, and it's going to be Malfunction closer once again. Not by much though. 80, 88 is all it's gonna amount to.
In the right city. It looks good. It looks good. Who cares about the points, Toby? Who cares about the points?
Exactly.
It's just about to show off.
Exactly. Forest route is where we're headed, into the boreal landscapes. As Route 7 is upon us, 4 times multiplier and 1,000 health between the two. What are you seeing here, Dilotris?
Yes, that's a good question. My first wipe was France, especially with the car brands all being French that I've seen so far. The architecture does check out now that we got out of the forest. It looks very mountainous, so either towards the Alps or the Pyrenees. I think the Alps do make more sense with all the pines.
Yeah. Both down there as well. Very close to the previous France location that we had. At 60, we go from 88 to 60 damage. As these two are pushing it side by side. Heading into the next round. Of course, the multipliers keep on stacking. And we do have the 10th round being the final one. So should we get there, whoever is in front by the end of round 10 will be the victor of the round. Coming in now to round number 8 with a quick guess from Lero in Peru.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if they will get to any information anytime soon. Being all the way up in the mountains here. So even if they play the round out and move further, I think they will end up with the same guesses, honestly.
Yep. Some distance in between the guesses. Here once again, you can see just 60 kilometers equals to almost 1,000 damage with the multipliers being this high. So Lero, now set under 2,000, needs to get something going here in round number 9.
Indeed. And this looks like Indonesia. We have a lot of tile roofs, which puts you by default on Java. You can see it a little bit in South Sumatra as well. And do we have a couple parts in here? Oh, it's saying Banyuwangi. Yeah, that's very far east in Java.
Both down there once more.
A pretty big Kabupaten. So I think Lero might be still in the right Kabupaten there.
Could
Don't know the exact border, but I know it is pretty big.
Nonetheless, now round 10, Lero needs something big. He needs to hit, well, at least he needs to end this round with more health available than Malfunction, or he will lose the moving game. Malfunction, according to stats, has the upper hand in these matchups. So let's see now how this one's gonna fare. We have Lero in the north side of Thailand already. Malfunction is there joining him. I'm not sure the distance is gonna be enough for him to be able to get back into it. And nope, it's not going to be. Malfunction wins the round, and even if he doesn't go to 0, she has more health than him, therefore that is GG. Malfunction out victorious in match number 1.
GG's indeed. Yeah, I would say most points have been made in Turkey, I guess, in that match. But besides that, I would say they really had similar guesses overall.
Yeah, they were pretty even, especially here in the end. Last many rounds were very close to one another. But the lead was set up by Malfunction, and she never wavered, able to maintain it all the way through. Now headed into no move. You can zoom in, you can spin around, but you're stuck in position as once again, Malfunction with the upper hand, at least statistically, on the average guesses here.
Indeed, for this round we are in Mexico. We have those octagonal poles, a lot of palm trees. Which makes me think maybe we are more towards the south or the east coast, west coast. That's where you find those type of palms more. Besides that, I don't really see much to use here. The information we had on that sign, I don't know if anything of that was really that useful. But they do end up in the same area again with their guesses.
Yep, Lero.
For now.
Down towards the west coast, this Malfunction. Ooh, found the city proper, 1.2 kilometers out. What a great round. Limited info to go by, but she's able to get it.
Yes, I don't know if Malfunction used the mountain range, or if she just decided to scan for that city. He was looking around there for a while. But yeah, got there in the end, and now we are in Bangladesh. Really hard to read what we have on that sign, it's pretty small.
Yep, seems like Malfunction. Just plunking it in, getting the round over with. Moving on as Lero might just do the exact same, hopping a bit further towards the north, and it's going to be right in between him. Usually people would go around Dhaka and just kind of GG go next, but this one amounts to a grand total of 152 damage. Not a whole lot, but we'll see as the multiplier stack. Maybe we'll get some more going here round 3. Love snow coverage.
Move on, yes. It looks very nice. However, especially snow coverage makes region guessing so much harder, because you can't really tell the foliage that well. But yeah, we have a New York guess. It should be somewhere there. I'm not even sure if it's US or Canada here. But there was a US flag, I think. I saw it last second.
Yeah. Just around the corner. It was there. Malfunction, able to maintain the flawless, at At least for now. As, again, I mean, the tempo has kind of switched in this one. Now it's malfunctioning with the quicker guesses. As Lero feeling the pressure.
Indeed. Now, what do we have here? We should be in Australia. Lero being from Australia. I mean, the Australian community in general, they are all at least decent at their own country. They are all actually also learning and try to be good at Australia. You don't have that with many countries. People are that interested in learning their own country where they are from, but especially the Aussies do grind. They have their own tournaments and all that.
Let's see who's going to be closer. They're going to be sat right on top of one another, equal distance apart, a little wave over to the neighbor stood next door. I think Lero would have wanted to be closer on that one, of course, given that it is his home country, but can't really fault him when the country is as big as it is.
No, I don't blame Lero at all. It can be quite difficult to guess that inland stuff in New South Wales and Queensland sometimes. And now we have some...
They're on the same
mountains. Yes, there aren't that many roads covered towards the Caucasus Mountains down there.
Lero does jump further west nonetheless. And it's right in between them.
Yeah, it's a couple, and they're also pretty hard to find as well. So I guess they somewhat just wanted to get the right region down.
And able to do so as well. Malfunction able to maintain the flawless score. Still 6,000 on the board coming into round number 6. So Lero, finally, at least according to statistics, numbers in his advantage.
Yes, and we have a lot of oil palms, and it's very mountainous, white lines, all that puts us on Borneo Island. Malaysia. That's actually very far west, and that's a very committed guess from Malfunction. I gotta respect that, and she's getting rewarded for that.
Definitely.
That's a lot of points.
Sends Lero down to under 2,500. So now coming to round number 7. And, what do we have working here?
Yes, this looks like the UK to me. Especially with this brick building there.
It's scary times for Lero now. With Malfunction, kind of just plunking, putting pressure on. He knows that he has to be so much more exact, but once again, despite the quick kind of flick just right down on England, it's still her out victorious. Round number 8, no damage taken whatsoever. This could be very dangerous, if not because we had a very telling road sign right next to her spawn.
Yes, I mean, we have the east of Andes looks in Ecuador plus a road number, so they should both probably end up on the right road. It is a pretty long road. The 45 goes... coverage? No, this is still the old coverage, yes. So the 45 is a very long stretch going all the way along the east. So you can still be very far off. But I guess with lining up the mountain distances, it can be a bit easier. Or you can increase your chances at least. But it seems like we don't even see the mountains to the west. It's blocked by the trees, so you can't really tell how far the mountains are, which makes it way more difficult.
See the road down towards the south there. The road is pretty much straight north to south. They're trying to line it up with what they have available. They want to see on the Google map if there's a road that aligns perfectly with where they can see Malfunction jumping back and forth there in the end. Should have been a bit further towards the south. They end up sitting pretty much right next to one another, and still it's out victorious. Lero just cannot get a hit in.
Yes, I mean, they both guessed right next to the mountains, and we were in the flat part, but that's what I meant with the vision being blocked to the west makes it so much more difficult to get a good region guess down on the road.
Quick Japan guess from Lero here. Let's see if Malfunction ups to follow.
Looks like we have Kanto pole tops. It's the region around Tokyo.
Finally!
And Lero finally getting some points down on the board.
Now he has to go big though. It's round 10 again. It is the final round. Do or die time for Lero. He needs to somehow end this round ahead of Malfunction. And what are you seeing here? Could it happen? Ooh, quick guess from Lero now.
It could happen. I mean, Argentina is a pretty big country. We shouldn't be far north. We shouldn't be far south. So I would say they somewhat will end up in the same region. But it can still be if someone is really on point here.
close
In
to
this
one
case,
another.
it needs to be Lero.
It's Lero closer, but not enough distance in between him for him to maintain or catch up on it.
No.
It's 900 points ahead still. Malfunction takes this one home 2-0. 20 rounds it took us, as both of these went all the way to round number 10. But in the end, Malfunction are victorious.
Yes, there was really no room, malfunction left Lero to catch up on that. It wasn't the easiest game. I mean, we went, as you said, 20 rounds through 2 games. That's really the maximum. So Lero was really striking back, but malfunction was just on and more precise. And in the end, it was 1 or 2 rounds where it really decided the game.
I mean, when you're flawless into round 8, it's going to be very hard to come back unless if you get one of those really obscure locations where everything can happen. This one, I mean, Malfunction able to set herself up for success in that one off of, playing a really, really solid no-move game. The moving game was a little more even. I think it was kind of bouncing back and forth where she still comes out victorious in the end of it. But this no-move here had her written all over it.
Yes, it got a little bit scary in the end, I must admit. On the Argentina round, I wasn't sure. I mean, Lero was very, very close, and malfunction was almost 200 kilometers off. So if she would have decided to move her pin maybe a little bit more to the north, it could have turned the game around. But yeah, she played very safe, very smart play there.
That's a scary thing, right? I mean, when you have rounds like that where you are ahead, but you just cannot close out the game. All of a sudden, the multipliers are so high that one bad guess, despite you having made 8 good ones just prior, one bad guess, all of a sudden, boom, it swung completely the other way. You hate to see it, and good thing for Malfunction and her fans, that did not happen. As we now go into the second match of the day, it's Strefan versus Spaghetti.
Indeed, we have Strefan versus Spaghetti. I mean, looking at the past performances, Strefan really, really had a rough week. Last week and the week before. He had a very long winning streak as well. So, I don't know, let's see. I mean, this last game was a win. Also against the Japanese player Kent. Now facing the other Japanese player Spaghetti. And this is where they are on the leaderboard. Again, very hard to make a prediction here on this matchup, Strefan versus Spaghetti.
They've both been able
to
take down very, very competent opponents during this tournament thus far. So now, let's wait no longer. Let's get straight into it. Match number 1 is underway. Or I should say round number 1 is underway between the two. And as you can see, the cars are rolling down the street. We are playing move.
Indeed, and yeah, looks like we're in Australia again with the double whites driving on the left. Kind of hilly, so I think they are both in the hills of Adelaide. Strefan is, scanning around there looking for a lineup possibly.
Does Spaghetti have the lake here? They spawned very close to water. I'm not sure if maybe he's found something here. He's very committed at least to the Warren Reservoir Reserve, it seems like. Has the turn there as well now, going back to it. Could be a 5k in the making, but I'm liking the guess from Strefan as well, a little bit further down the street. And it is going to be Spaghetti on point with it 3 meters off. First 5k of the day.
Love to see that. Yeah, he was a little bit more precise there, and he moved around, double checking the curves afterwards as well.
A 4.5k.
Really happy to confirm it. But yeah, pretty much. That's how you can call it.
That should have been a 10k. I feel like had Strefan had just 2-3 more seconds to line up the ankle there, he would have opted to jump up to Spaghetti as well. But what a great round nonetheless. Them practically sat on top of one another. As we head into round number 2, beautiful mountainous landscape here.
Indeed, we should be somewhere in the Alps in Italy. Given the language, given the looks, the architecture, we have actually a lot of town signs, but those are all very small towns. You can judge by the distances. If you know a town is just 1 kilometer away or 2 kilometers, it's usually not a big town. But still not the biggest area where you have to scan if you go along the Alps of Italy.
Strefan looking, trying to see if he can find the city proper. Not able to do so. It's a bit off towards the east, but still gonna be closer. He had a phone number there. I'm not sure, does the phone, like, do you have area codes and the phone numbers the same way that do in the US and other places when it comes to Italy?
You do. It's a bit easier in Italy. It's also lined up pretty well. It goes from north to south. But guessing within the Alps, I don't think the area codes help that much.
Ooh, a lot of info available here. Both the state outline, the double road indicators as well. This one should be very doable for both of them.
Indeed. We have a county sign with a letter, which is a Minnesota thing. I know that because I missed that when I was playing my EMEAs. Did I say Minnesota?
Yeah,
I meant
it's
Wisconsin.
Just on the border of...
I meant Wisconsin.
Yeah, exactly. Just on the border. Spaghetti won it. I mean, if he thought he had it quickly, instantly sent it, but Strefan using those extra 15 seconds very, very wisely. Able to get almost on the dot. Turning the one around here. Now set almost 2,000, or 3,000, I should say, points ahead.
Indeed, and both players not really moving here, because we actually had a lot of info given, however, it didn't seem to be that useful. And now both players move. One player goes towards the south, one player went towards the north. Which direction will be better? For now it seems like Strefan is on the main road, which I do like better. However, Strefan is also on a major road.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good, both of them right now.
Yeah, they both did end up here.
Plenty of signs available, but a lot of it, of course, being storefronts and signs to small local areas. They're both in and around the same city now, though. Strefan opting to actually hop into the city proper, too. They're both there. Should have been a bit further west, but minimal damage will come through here in round number 4. Just 60.
Yep. Both ending up around Saguenay in Quebec. We do move over to round 5. Let's see what we have here. And we are actually back again in Australia. Mountainous and red Google car. It's interesting. Those poles look like Western Australia, though. Yes, we should be in Western Australia. We call it WA.
Wow.
In the geolingo. But I've heard that none of the Australians say VAR.
Wow.
They say
Which
WA.
makes sense.
For them, it sounds weird whenever we say VAR.
I mean, which I can
so
completely understand.
Yeah. So I guess I'm just gonna say Western Australia and keep it long and
I guess
clear.
it's like calling USA just USA. That
Yeah,
would also
probably.
be kind of weird.
Probably.
Yeah, calling it USA. But, well, Spaghetti opting to go down towards Perth. They're both in and around there, with Strefan a bit further towards the south. You were right, at least in the assumption that they were going to go towards WA as well. Here they are. Spaghetti this time, though, quite a bit closer to the target than Strefan, so scores should be almost lined up now. It is 900 points separating the two.
Yeah, great region guys there from Spaghetti. Not the easiest job, especially in Western Australia, along the mountain range in the west. But we do move over. We had a state flag. Which one is that? A little bit more information. We have a lot of signs. I think we should be in Malaysia. And we also had a state flag. I forgot which one that was. Don't think it was the Sarawak one.
I can hear that you're thinking, so I'm just gonna let you think. On that
No, I
one
don't think I'm getting there.
No, fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
also couldn't really get a good look on it. I only saw the colors.
It's fair. It's fair enough. 10 seconds to go. I mean, with these two not guessing either, goes to show that they're truly thinking, trying to figure out what it is as well. But they're both in and around the northern side of Kuala Lumpur. We'll see who's going to come out victorious here. Timer runs all the way down to 0, and it's going to be Strefan. On the correct road as well. 2.4 kilometers out. Damage won't be too high, but incredible guess nonetheless.
Yes. Now, I know it was the Selangor, like the red and yellow.
I thought it was the Spanish flag, so you're good.
Yeah, I mean, if you see Spanish flags in Malaysia, now you know you should guess in Selangor. Same colors.
Good to
know,
know.
good
Good
to
to know. Round number 7 upon us. We're out in the open. What are you thinking here, Tilotris?
Yes, we are in Russia. We have the white Google car, which rules down a couple areas in Russia. Usually when it's flat like this, you're either south of Chelyabinsk or very far east around Khabarovsk. I can't tell you the distance out of my head. Might be 2,000 kilometers of each other, those two regions. But with the slide hills, I think we are more likely to be south of Chelyabinsk, where they both end up now with their pins. Scanning.
2 seconds left to work with. Let's see how this one is going to pan on out. Timer once again all the way down to 0 before the commitment went through. And they're both going to be almost equal distance to the target. 30 kilometers separating the two. As, well, Strefan able to extend his lead, at least by a little bit. 1,500 points now ahead, coming into round number 8. As we get back to Japan, it seems like maybe Spaghetti having the upper hand here.
Definitely. Especially in Japan, you see a lot of information. So if you know how to read the language, or the script, I should say, the script is really what you need to know. It is given a lot here and there on almost every sign, and as you can see, Spaghetti is checking everything he can, where Strefan is really trying to move out of this field, maybe trying to get more information.
I was gonna say, Strefan instantly looked at one of the antennas. I haven't really seen, or poles, I should say. I haven't really seen Spaghetti. Now he starts looking at one. But curious to me that he gives Spaghetti this much time in his home country. You'd think that Strefan, once he sees the antenna, once he has the region, you'd want to get a quick guess in to not get Spaghetti more time. But now they're there pretty much on top of one another. Once again, they're so even in their guesses right now. Let's see if they're going to be close. They are both going to be incredibly close to the target. But a bit surprised here that Strefan opted to give Spaghetti this much time.
Yeah. I mean, starting off, you had those poles on spawn, so you would just assume that your opponent, in this case Spaghetti, also has that information and will end up in the same area anyway.
Yeah.
So you might as well just try to luckily get to better information by moving a bit more.
Well, round number 9. Spaghetti needs to catch up to Strefan. Wants to get that done with now before coming into round 10, and this could be a big country to do so in.
Yes, we are back in Russia by the looks. I would say we have this fall coverage, which you see also in a couple places, in more places than the white car. Most of it is south of Moscow. With the vegetation, I feel like we are maybe even further south. A lot of these poplar trees, I don't see any birches. So I guess we could be a bit further south in the country. Now, especially on Strefan's panel, I think we are hugging Kazakhstan. But
see, Strefan able to get the guess through. Both gonna be equal distance to the target once again, but importantly for Strefan, hand on his head, you can tell, wanting to make sure that he maintains the lead, because that could have been big had Spaghetti been closer. Not quite the case. Now, round 10, one last chance for Spaghetti to try and claim the moving game.
Round 10 indeed. We are in Uruguay. We have a grid check from Spaghetti. So now for those out there wondering, why is he looking down the road? What is he gonna see on the road? He's not looking at the road. He is lining up the road with the compass to the north, so you know what the alignment of the road is.
Yep.
And the cities in Uruguay are built on grids. So you can theoretically check every city and look which city lines up the most.
Strefan is gonna get it. He's further towards the south. It's round 10 and it's right in between him. Had it been further towards the north, there might be enough damage for Spaghetti to claim it, but not gonna happen. It's gonna be Strefan out victorious here in round number 10 as we head into no move.
Yes, and that's another case of the final round where players try to go
all of our rounds
like
so
all
far.
the way north or all the way south, all the way east, all the way west. You really have to try to turn it around somehow. But Uruguay doesn't really give you the room for that.
Yeah, that's true. You need to hit big when you have a chance to in those big countries earlier on. As we now start the no move, and luckily for these two, plenty of info available early on.
Yes, it's saying Fujairah, which is a pretty big city in the southeast along the coast. Spaghetti is on it, I think. Yeah. Spaghetti is on it. Strefan also zoomed towards... No, he's actually... Ooh, did he miss that information? It's pretty big down in the south. Now, in this case, Spaghetti obviously doesn't know where Strefan is looking. Looking back to this game, Spaghetti will regret not instantly sending this, because if Strefan will find it in the end... Okay, he doesn't.
He does not. Spaghetti almost stables the lineup. Yet another 5k. Not quite gonna happen. It's gonna be a 5k -1, as Chat likes to say. As we head on in to round number 2. I do like the fact that for such a small country, they actually took their time to try and line it up.
Yes.
In round 1 as well.
Definitely. Let's move on to the next one, which is pretty interesting. It is very flat. I think we are east of the Annex in Colombia, especially with this road. There are a lot of like rainy gravel roads with those potholes. And we also have the Google car with the stubby antenna, which is confirming that it can be a possibility to be there. Not exclusive to Colombia, but it's one of the countries. But then again, we have those fences as well. Another good clue for Colombia. And yeah, with the terrain and how flat it is, no mountains inside, I assume we are somewhere east of the Andes.
Spaghetti committing just on the south side of Bogota. We'll see if Strefan is there to follow. He's going to go high towards the north, looking potentially all the way towards Mexico right now. Not sure if he's going to go further. Nope, not going to happen. Ups to stay, and wow! Yet another impressive guess coming through here from Spaghetti.
That is a lot of points.
Yep.
Actually a lot of points for round 2 in Colombia. Getting Strefan to almost half HP.
Incredible.
Is a lot of damage. But hey, we are only on round 3. Still a lot of rounds to play. Especially on big countries. It can turn quick. As we move over to this Brazil round. Kind of a red soil, which makes me think maybe Piauí area in the northeast. It is dry and mountainous. We have a Piauí guess from Strefan, right as I was considering it. I am not sure though. Could be somewhere further east or southeast of Piauí.
Definitely
as
could.
we do see Strefan going further east. Seems like we are having the same thoughts there. But Spaghetti also in the same rough region. Started off in Bahia.
What are they looking for here? 10 seconds left. They're not really looking too much at the road. Is it the mountains in the distance? Or what are they zooming in and out for?
Yes. I mean, we have a ridge along the south, and I would assume they are trying to find a ridge in that region that goes along the same direction.
Well, should have stayed further down towards the south. Yeah. Would have been more on point, but of course, always easy with hindsight knowledge to get it through as they're both giggling, laughing. Spaghetti shaking this one off. Knowing, again, as we said before, I mean, if it does come to those round 10s, whenever you get a chance like that to be closer than your opponent, you want to try and see if you can capitalize.
Yeah, that was a very, very hard Goyas to get, honestly. The looks looked very northeastern. Don't really know if there was anything they overlooked at. Just a hard location. And we move over to a big country, Russia. But with the winter coverage Gen 4, we should be somewhere from south of Moscow towards the Caucasus. Still a pretty big area where you can guess within. Yeah. We do have some birch trees, therefore I don't really like Spaghetti's guess all the way down there. Because it is very rare to see birch trees down south. And Spaghetti is very far south, so this can actually turn the game around.
Definitely could. 8 seconds left for Spaghetti to reconsider. Guess confirmed by Strefan here. We'll see if he's going to opt to change things up come last second. Nope. Commits further to the south. It's going to be with quite some distance. Hand to the head instantly, shaking it. It's not as lethal as it probably could have been, but definitely a round that he would have wanted to avoid.
Yep. Thing he didn't commit even further south there, but still good damage to strike back for Strefan. Now we are in New Zealand. Let's see what we have here. I would need to take a better look here to really get a region guess, because New Zealand is also a very hard country to region guess on some locations. Especially on those where you just drive to green mountains. You can see it on both the North Island and South Island. However, they are both in the north of the South Island here.
Seems like they're both, yeah, I mean, for good reason. Well, I say that now. We'll see once the once their guesses come through. Oh, Spaghetti sat there, not feeling too comfortable with the location he's in. He's looking further north. You can see Force taking their hands off the mouse, looking into the air. But good thing that he opted to stay, because that could have been very dangerous had he swung all the way north. So, smart on him. Stick around, as he does manage to do some more damage to Strefan. Still sat ahead, but wanting to crawl back in this one, down 1-0.
Indeed, and this vegetation looks very Yucatan to me. In Mexico, also the sandy soil, I hope. I mean, there are some places in Brazil that can look like this. That is what's scaring me right now, and maybe also the players, I don't know. But by default, I guess, even though it isn't that sandy, no, now I'm confused. The longer I look at it, if I play this on blink mode, if I have 1 second to guess, I will send it to Yucatan immediately.
Okay.
But the longer I look at it, the more I think it is Brazil.
Interesting.
Am I overthinking it?
Ooh,
no, I'm not sure.
Both your guesses are in play. North side Brazil, Yucatan, Strefan, Spaghetti. Who's gonna commit here? Are we gonna see change-ups with 5 seconds left to work with? We have 3.5 times multiplier, and Spaghetti is moving further and further towards the east. This could very well end up being the decider, and it is gonna be down towards Brazil. Should definitely be way enough damage. And that's gonna be Spaghetti tying up the score 1-1.
Yep, I don't blame Strefan at all here. That was my 50-50 as well. The first wipe was there, but I kind of had the feeling that something was off for Yucatan. I couldn't really tell what. Maybe the coverage type, something was telling me that something is off, but really not easy to tell.
So now, an NPC, no move, no pan, no zoom. All they get is this image and the ability to put their faces closer to their monitors, I suppose, still resides within them. So we'll see where they're going to go with it. East side, Brazil this time around. We'll see if Spaghetti's there to follow. He is. Gonna be off by a bit.
Yeah, ending up with the same guesses, giving the waves out. Interesting. Usually you don't see that little damage in Brazil.
Who do you feel comes into this round with better momentum going? Because you can see Strefan, he seems a bit frustrated with, maybe obviously, I mean, the previous one is Spaghetti. You gotta put that monitor closer to your face so you don't have to lean all the way over the table.
I still think Strefan has a good mental. Even though he got frustrated on the last round, I feel like he's switching up and locking in right as the next game starts. So I don't think it will be a problem for him to stay focused. So in terms of momentum, it's really hard, of course. Spaghetti's coming out of the win and knowing that he still has the chance to win this match.
Yeah.
In this NPC game.
Montpellier.
Might give him a better momentum. But yeah.
We'll see. We have chatters from Montpellier out here representing, waving the flag to the Google car as it comes driving on by. So now going to round number 3. Spaghetti committing early to Colombia. Seems like there's a bit of a Colombian cross there in the distance, but of course he's got 19,000 other meters he can use to put down that country.
Yep, again we have those fences, we have that sign as you mentioned, the yellow lines. Again fairly flat. So, should be sent.
Wow. Oh, you know what? I respect that. Spaghetti, you saw him there for a second clapping his hands. I respect a man that gives credit to another person's good guess, because that was incredible, Strefan.
I mean, I will join Spaghetti there with giving out credits. That is a very hard lineup, and getting the right region on the road down is very impressive. Nice find from Strefan. Definitely a great guess. See, that's a beauty of GeoGuessr. Guess doesn't need to deal a lot of damage to be impressive.
Oh yeah.
And interesting. So every round matters in those terms.
Strefan
now I'm not even that sure on the country.
Spaghetti is over in Serbia, or maybe just on the border of. But you have Strefan on the east side of Romania. Let's see what's going to be closer. It's going to be in between the two. But Strefan definitely closer to the target. 1,500 damage comes through to Spaghetti. As, again, I mean, in an NPC, anything can happen. So, this game is still very far from done.
Pine Forest. First wipe is Sweden for me. Could be Norway. Definitely looks like the Nordics.
Yeah.
I feel like Sweden has more of this type of coverage. With this type of coverage, I mean like this wintry looks through the forests. It's more of a thing you see in Sweden rather than Norway, I feel like. But very hard to be certain here.
Commits up the coast towards the Finnish border, but not all the way up there. And it's actually going to be down towards Stockholm. I mean, I hear it said oftentimes amongst you and other GeoGuessr experts that Sweden hard to reach and guess despite coverage, because trees and whatnot are very similar pretty much across the, not entire, but majority of the country, and Spaghetti feeling the hurt there because of it.
Yeah, definitely Sweden very hard to get a region guess down, especially in forests. You mentioned the trees. As a rule of thumb, you can say if the trees aren't growing that high up, if they are like a bit lower due to the temperatures in the north, you can be more likely to be in the north. But then again, in a forest like that, where you couldn't really tell that, it's really, really hard to get a good region guess down.
Exactly. Both these, this time around, both of them looking towards Canada, but you have Strefan towards Quebec, and Spaghetti is all the way towards Vancouver. 3.5 times multiplier. This could be incredibly costly for Spaghetti. It could be, well, effectively, game decided right here.
I like Strefan's guess more. I had an eastern vibe with those trees.
2 seconds. Spaghetti not too sure. Zooming in, zooming out. Do you commit to it? He does commit in the end, and it's gonna be Strefan closer. GG's in the chat as Strefan claims 13,000 damage done to bring it home 2-1.
What a relief for Strefan. I mean, Spaghetti really didn't make it easy for him, striking back on the second round in a no-move game. Yeah. Starting off strong in the NPC round as well. But yeah, Strefan really locking in there. Got the right vibe in Canada, and that's all you need sometimes.
Exactly. An incredible Colombia guess early as well. Didn't amount to many points, as you said, but when you have even your opponent doing a quick, it deserves some credit there. So that was the first two matches done for anything in particular. I mean, not outside of the fact that they both went on for a long time, very close matches. Anything outside of that in particular that stood out to you, Geoguessr, in this match?
No, I was about to mention the same. They really went into the distance. Those matches really came through. As I said, we had I also said it before we started with the games, very, very same skill level on the matchups today. So it's really no favorite to pick out here at all. And yeah, I think my point got proven by how long those games go and with how similar their guesses are.
Definitely, definitely. We are going to get straight into the next matchup. As you can hear, the music has changed. That means we are queuing up the next games to come your way. And what better than have ourselves Spaghetti once again taking on Trista. So off of a 2-1 loss to Strefan. We'll see if he can fully reset coming into this game against the Belgian player.
Yes, always a bit difficult to play back-to-back. I know that. It is getting it doesn't look like it, but it is exhausting. So maybe an advantage for Trista here. We have the stats very, very similar, I must say. There's not a huge difference. Of course, Trista with a higher win rate and a higher precision overall. 44. A bit better on the board.
It's kind of impressive to me that Trista has such a long average guessing time. It must mean that he hasn't played against MK or Zigzag yet, because he wouldn't be allowed to have such a high average if he had been playing against those guys.
Probably, but yeah, I know Trista does like to take his time on the rounds, really looking into everything he has on every location. And we have Bismarck on the sign. Is that a Bismarck in North Dakota? By the looks, I want to say that Dakotas could make sense here.
A water hedge
we
would
do
make
know
sense.
the US with their place names and how you find the same city name in every single state.
Trista committing to Terry. I didn't see the sign close outside of the Bismarck there. If maybe is it Terry somewhere there as well? Because if it did, that could be an incredibly qualified guess. Baguette now opening up the map, looking towards Idaho, further towards the west. Now swinging. Did he get his guess in?
Yes.
Oh, he did. It was just earlier. Okay, that had me confused. But look at that, Trista. He did, in fact, get the city down. 5K lined up. Great start for him.
Yep. Starting off a very strong, good find from Trista. And we move over to the next round. We have some acai palms there in the distance, which makes me think we are in the north in Brazil. Area codes not on this billboard, but I would assume that's what players are looking for right now. I think we should be in a mapa.
Oh, Trista, quick to log in once again. We'll see if Spaghetti opts to follow. Brazil, as you say, kind of given. As we do hop up towards the map, but they're both in the same city now at this point as well. Do we get our first 10K of the day? Is it going to be the case? The first 10K of many days? Nope, not quite to be. And it's going to be Trista closer once again.
Yeah. Very straightforward round for those players, if you know how the mapa coverage looks like.
Yet another Western round. I was saying it earlier today. I mean, last week it was all about the US, and well, seems like today ain't no different.
Nope. Doesn't seem to change. Was an area code? I don't know if Trista did learn area codes. He's looking at the sign. Seems like he has a Michigan vibe, because that's where he zoomed on. Oh, I think he zoomed into Wisconsin, something like that.
I was just thinking, because I lived in Wisconsin for a year, and I feel like 952 was, if not Wisconsin, then Minneapolis, like Minnesota. I just feel like I remember starting phone numbers with 952, but I could be wrong.
I mean, there are so many area codes on this track. There's a 952, 320.
That is true.
So, which one is it? But they both end up guessing Minneapolis, just outside.
Was close for sure, and still Trista able to maintain his flawless scoreline as we go into round number 4.
We do move on, and we are in Nigeria. In Nigeria, you usually have the state given on signs, as we do here on Trista's side, Port Harcourt. Does Spaghetti also get to the information he needs here?
Always plenty of signs available, but rarely are they all that crucial info-wise, as Spaghetti let's find the city as well. Both set next to one another. Minimal damage will come through once again, make it a grand total of 5.
Both got the information on different signs. Really shows how easy it is to find the town or the state in Nigeria. It's in a lot of signs.
Well, this time around, once again, as the score sees, prediction favoring Trista with this guess. Both of them set on average over 4,000. Impressive score lines.
That is impressive indeed. We are in urban South Africa. What would you need here? Again, area codes can be pretty helpful in South Africa. They follow a pretty good pattern. Besides that, I must say urban rounds can be quite tricky in South Africa, especially because a lot of place names did change over time. They do have a lot of towns that change their names, so you will have it written differently on Google Maps than it is on the signs.
Trista going somewhat center-south. Spaghetti over on the eastern side of Lesotho, but Trista with the better guess this time around. Once again, quite a bit of distance in between the two. I thought for a second it might be game, but no, not quite. Spaghetti down to 824 health now as we make our way into round number 6.
That is a lot of points. especially in moving. If you have that advantage, that's already very promising. However, we don't have any information here at all.
Still, despite that, a pretty zoomed-in guess from Spaghetti here.
Yep.
Might know something. Trista. Yep. Almost in the exact same location too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ridge going along here. It's in a couple parks, but this one is pretty recognizable. Spaghetti breaking the flawless there, getting some points down from Trista.
About time that they do. About time that he does. So get into round number 7. And, yeah, instantly down the street we go.
Yep. And we are, again, in the Americas. This time it is Mexico. Pretty clear to tell from that saying Mexicano on the sign. Now, what would we need in Mexico? I mean, if you have learned your zip codes, you see those from time to time. Often on street signs, they have their zip codes in Mexico, which can help, definitely. Also not that easy to learn, because there are a lot of cities, a lot of different zip codes.
When in doubt, go Mexico City. Rainbow once told me that. Well, seems like Spaghetti is gonna commit, but I don't think he's in doubt. I don't think he's in doubt at all. As a matter of fact, he's lining up small roads here. Could have found something very, very useful. He's gonna need it. He's behind by over 5,000 health, and he is gonna be close. It might not be a 5K, but nonetheless, it's a good location for him to be in. Unfortunately for him, Trista was there as well, so minimal damage done.
Yep. That's what I meant with the moving games. Even though when Spaghetti gets a very close guess down, the chance that your opponent is somewhere nearby and not that far off is big, which makes it very challenging for Spaghetti to turn this game around. However, we are in Russia, and we do know a lot of upsets, a lot of game switches. Lead switches did happen in Russia in this league.
Big map, big country, big points, usually, or at least can, go hand in hand. Limited info to work with here as well. Neither of these two, as we're getting into the 22nd mark, has even opened the map yet. What are you thinking here, Jotus?
I think we're somewhere northwest, around St. Petersburg. Given those pine forests along the road, that's where Spaghetti did plonk, and I would...
Ooh, Trista, Moscow. Two big cities, opting to jump for each theirs. Spaghetti's up towards the north. He's gonna be closer as well, 500 kilometers closer to the target, and it's gonna be enough! Wow, Spaghetti able to turn it around, and you can see instantly Trista bobbing his head, going, okay, that was on me. Full focus mode. We cannot let this one slip away now, because he almost had him. He almost took him down, but not quite to be.
No, and that is Russia for you, Toby. That is Russia for you. It really gives you the opportunities you need in this case. Of course, for Spaghetti, I don't know if Trista tried to play it safe with a Moscow guess because he knew he has the lead. Or if he actually had that vibe for Moscow. We don't know. Players tend to make different guesses the closer it gets towards the end of the match, because you know the multis ramp up and you just have to be high up with your health than your opponent to just win.
Yeah.
But in that case, the commitment did pay off for Spaghetti.
Oh yeah.
And now we are back again in Russia. This time it is round 1. No multis, not big damage. So even though they are pretty far from each other here.
Yeah, I was gonna say not big damage. You might actually beat decent sized damage if Trista keeps going further towards the west here. Spaghetti is all the way over in Novosibirsk, and it is gonna be even further east than where he was. So, well, you say not big damage in round 1, but still, that's half Trista's health done. He has taken 10,000 damage in 2 rounds of Russia.
That round on round 3 would have been game already. No matter what the health bar is telling you. But now it seems like we are in Germany. Trista is pretty good at Germany. Definitely a better country than Russia for him.
Spaghetti's in Belgium.
It should be Germany though.
I was thinking it kind of looks like Denmark with the vibe. So can you assume that it's then going to be northern Germany? I'm not quite sure. The whole like setup, the way the bricks, the buildings and aesthetics just gives me very Danish vibes. Even though I know it's not Denmark.
We have an Aldi store there, and they are separated in north and south in Germany.
Don't go Denmark, Spaghetti. Don't do it.
But in this case, I don't know. Is it Aldi North or is it Aldi South? I can't tell. But by the architecture, I do agree. It looks more northern. And Spaghetti did change to a better guess. Definitely like that. Yes, more now.
Yeah, both in and around Bremen. And, well, it is going to be down in between Münster and Dortmund. But nonetheless, good on him for hopping out of Belgium. Hovering Denmark for a second. My man had me worried, but not the case.
Not this time. And we are in around 3 now of the bet, looking like Chile or Argentina.
This is where Walter White parked his car. Nope, maybe not.
It's pretty far from where we parked this car, I think. But by the vibes, by the looks, I do agree. I do agree. It can look like that area of the world as well. But yeah, I think it should be Chile. More likely.
Definitely could be. Spaghetti first one to log in. Trista still with 7 seconds left to work with. Out on the west coast. Maybe we can go a bit further inland. Nope, not quite. There's a bit of distance in between their guesses. And it's going to be Trista closer this time around. 900 damage done. Spaghetti, he needs it. He needs to start clawing back. A lot of damage really has been done considering the fact that this was only round 3.
Yeah. I mean, look at the health buzz. You would assume you are further into the game, but no, we are just starting off.
Exactly.
Thanks, and off the bat, I want to say this looks like Yukon. Yes, and we have both players going into Yukon. That mountain range could be the one along the one. Yeah, the Haynes Junction. I do like that from Spaghetti. Not like me would check the dot on the road because you get a little smudge there.
Yeah, 20 seconds to work with. Still both spinning around as much as can be. Beautiful mountain location there in the distance as well. Spaghetti looking down towards Silver City. Maybe he has something lined up. Trista's there to join him.
I do like that guess a lot. I mean, we see the big mountains towards the west. And from this road, especially on the east-west span, that does make a lot of sense. It was further down. Really hard to tell which mountains we are looking at because all of those mountains are pretty big and go in a very long ridge. But yeah, I think they did need a bit more time maybe to get the right alignment.
Great, total of 12 damage being done as we go from one mountainous location to another, at least foresty one. And Spaghetti sets up on the western side of Eswatini. What's in him here?
Yes, I mean, you mentioned it already. The forest. You have a lot of pine-ish. Are those pines? I'm not even sure if those are pines, but you get a lot of these forests around Eswatini. Not necessarily, though, because you can also get them along the south. So if you
That's exactly where Trista's going. Once again, a 50-50, and it's going to be even further east. Trista frustrated with that one. It could be enough, and indeed it will be game because of it. Frustrations on his face. And he seemed so comfortable with the initial guess as well, but not happy in the end of it. So Spaghetti, despite falling earlier in his previous matchup to Strefan, is able to turn this one around. Not just that, but a 2-0 at that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the final score, 2-0, you would assume, okay, Spaghetti absolutely cooked Trisha there. But no, it was really 1 or 2 rounds where he used the multis to really strike on Trista. In this case, it was in South Africa. Wasn't really on the coast, but hey, being on the right side of the country sometimes is enough. Trista was upset, probably because he had the coastal vibes and the South Coast vibe. But it's a very, very long stretch in South Africa and very hard to tell on which side you are.
To go from almost winning, moving in 5 rounds to being 0-2, I think. I mean, we were talking about momentum, how quickly it swung against Trista. Not only losing, moving in that big round in the end, of the first game, but also, of course, to kick things off coming into no move when you start 3,000 health behind after the first round, you know it's going to be hard against a player like Spaghetti, who, despite having made a few mistakes, rarely ever make the big ones. And this time around, didn't make any of those either.
Yes, Trista definitely lost a lot of points in Russia on both rounds. Definitely a country where he probably sits down today and looks a bit further into it to learn that country, I guess, because on every other country, Trista is just unstoppable, really.
Yeah.
Feel like that might be a little weakness of Trista.
Full mental reset for him as we get ourselves ready for the next match. It's going to be Eamonn versus Clement. You talked about them a bit coming in to today's games, how they're sat very, very close on the leaderboard. But now talk to me about them individually and some about their playstyles.
They do indeed, and I would say there's also not a big difference in that term, because both are no-move favorites, I would say. No-move and NPC is more the game modes they prefer rather than moving. Both Eamonn and Clement. So, same stats, same points, same playstyle.
Yep, very similar. On the leaderboard, Eamonn sat a couple points behind, make it 4. Would really want to get further up because he, of course, is playing for that Apex spot. And it's a close race. It's a tricky one at that as well. Clement also, of course, wanting to make his way to the EMEA regionals. Want to lock down that spot. And of course, I mean, for Clement, knowing that the grand finals, or the world championship, I should say, is going to be played in Denmark, would really want to qualify to be able to represent this country as we get into round number 1. Instantly, Eamonn is in Kenya.
Definitely. And I also noticed Clement is on 50 points now, so I would assume he won a game.
Wait, so Clement, what happened to last time we saw him play? He had like this insanely gold frame, like bed frame. Now, not so much. He downgraded from the presidential suite.
I feel like it looks different every single week where Clement is, so might switch up his setup a lot, or I mean, maybe playing on a laptop and has a cam that's portable.
The digital nomad lifestyle of going to new places every week for GeoGuessr tournaments. We'll see if that's going to be the case for Clement or not, as Eamonn able to hit home for here game number 1. Round number 1. Not too much damage to write home about, but nonetheless, a lead.
Indeed. And up next, very weird looking coverage. I mean, it looks like Nigeria, and I've talked about Nigeria earlier, how you can find the state pretty quick on signs. Very common to be written here and there. We have a Joss Hauer from Eamonn scanning around there. I don't know exactly what he's looking for, whether he's looking for a suburb name or a lineup.
What did you see?
This looks like a main road. I am not sure if it was vibes. I mean, he could have also maybe used the coverage type and the mountains down there.
A lot of info on this
now
one.
He has very good information and a very good camera quality as well to read them, but so does Clement. Saint Vom.
Yep.
Is that a place name? I'm not sure if that might be...
Ooh, Clement is all the way towards the east here, but no, now zooming out of it again. Jumenta is where he's, at least for now, opted to commit. He's going to stay there as well. Further towards the east, it was over towards Eamonn. So pretty big damage coming through, considering that it's round 2. Almost 2,000 at that.
Definitely for Nigeria standards, and especially on that camera quality, Gen 4, you know most of that is in the east. There wasn't really a big region, but for that they really were spread across max east and west what was possible with that type of coverage. So yeah, good on Eamonn for picking up the right city there. But we are still very early in the game. Moving around on a mountainous road, the road lines do look French to me, with how tight the gaps are in between the lines. That is a very French thing. I think you also have it in Denmark. You can see it in Denmark as well, where you have those tight gaps in between the lines. But of course, with mountains like these, you wish you had them in Denmark, wouldn't you?
I do. As someone who likes to go skiing, I do feel like I was born in the wrong country. Yep. At least in those regards. Many other regards, I'm very happy to be Danish. But when it comes to that, not so much. Clement, though, opting to go down in the islands. He's all the way... We'll see who's going to get it. And it's going to be him. Wow.
Very good commit striking back. Eamonn still in a slight lead, but that was important for Clement to get those health points down from Eamonn. Gets himself into the game. And now we are in Argentina. Not the easiest country. Especially also on moving. I feel like if you don't have a mile marker with the road number given, it can be quite tricky because you don't often get big city names given anywhere nearby if you are in a rural town like this. So I think the approach really is to move out as fast as you can to get on a main road.
Is there anything in the foliage that can help you when the lack of city signage cannot? Or is this a very generic Argentinian nature and surrounding?
Very rarely, you can use the foliage, but usually you use more mountains in Argentina. If you have mountains, you're on the west. If you don't have them, you're on the eastern side. But then it's still a long stretch. Definitely and as we can see them going all the way north and south there on the eastern side, that will allow you to deal 2.4k damage.
Yep, another big chunk taken by Clement as he sits down at under 1800 health. Now Eamonn playing with the advantage here, but of course we know advantage ain't really anything until you get the opponent down to 0.
Interesting round. We are Turkey.
Yeah. Same car again that we had in the other southeast round.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty spread in a big circle around the country.
Okay.
As a rule of thumb. You don't really see it that much in the northwest, unless you're on the European side. But I think we are north of Adana here, because north of Adana has those eucalyptus trees combined with the sunflowers. And a flat roof. And this car, I think that's... Yeah, it's saying Tarsus, that's west of Adana, actually.
Did Clement go past that sign? Or did he go the completely other way? I'm not sure. But he found the city as well.
Tarsus, yes.
Yeah,
it's a pretty big city. If you get that vibe, you can definitely use that. Eamonn, however, is still looking at the location rather than scanning for that. And now he will see it being in Tarsus, and he will realize, okay, that was actually information I could have used on that sign. But still a very good region guess, nonetheless.
I was gonna say, when you're, within 100 kilometers in a situation like this, you can't really be too mad about it, especially when you have a considerable lead and when we're enough in the game issues. Now, round 6 is upon us. 3.5 times the multipliers are here. And, well, Clement is already going down the street, but Eamonn yet to move. There you go.
Yes. I think both players will probably know that this is East Java. Given that, okay, it's also saying Java Timur on that truck. But we had asymmetrical poles and tile roofs. Yeah. Both those clues combined will put you in East Java, unless you are on Banten. I
was gonna say they're both out on Madura. It seems like Clement first to log in, but now you have Eamonn in the exact same city. Yep. Well, a teeny tiny town off to the north is what separates the two, and with that, 24 damage comes through. But a nice commitment to one of the small islands here.
Yep. As we go on to another Australia, we have seen it a couple times today. And again, not the easiest location, because I could see a southern Queensland here. But I could also see this being inland New South Wales. We have a license plate. Did it have a red tint on it?
Very quick send from Clement here. Barely even zooming in at all. As now Eamonn joining him. He's way further towards the north. With 4 times multiplier, this could be big, depending on who's going to be closer. It's going to be Clement. What a plonk. Even he is surprised. That's going to be game. Wow. He barely even zoomed in. Look at him. He's shaking his head. I think he's as surprised as we were.
Yeah, he just plonked it down immediately. Getting this close with a vibe guess is very impressive.
He wanted to put pressure on. He didn't want to give Eamonn time to figure things out, but in doing so, he pretty much put the marker on the point. What an incredible guess.
Yeah, I don't think he would have gotten any closer, even if he would have moved around, because it didn't look like we would have any information nearby.
I like chat's way of following the tracking Clement here. Is he getting closer to getting his golden bed frame back? Well, he might be. There might be more golden bed frames in the future for Clement if he can make guesses like that on the go.
So we move on to the no-move game. I do agree with the Thailand plonks. However, a region guess here is quite difficult. I would just send... I would click on the... Okay, I was about to say I would click on the label, but Clement is just better. He knows it's southwest of the label.
Just north of Bangkok. That's where Clement commits. And, well, he's gonna get rewarded for doing so. And we were talking about it previously. I mean, how quickly momentum can swing around. Eamonn sat with a not big but pretty solid lead, and now just one round in to no move, he's 1,000 points behind, very similar to what we saw in the previous game.
Yes, and we are back in Australia, and after that first Australia round where Clement really had that great guess down, will he continue? Because again, we have a split up between South Australia and Queensland, I think. Yeah, you can see it barely. Eamonn is in Queensland, Clement is in South Australia. Neighboring states, however, still a long distance.
Luckily, the multipliers aren't that high yet, because we could have game over in this very round, depending on how much further they want to separate. Clement is continuously moving further down towards the south, further down towards Adelaide. Of course, still quite a distance from there, as the round does come to a 0, and it's going to be Clement closer to the target once more. 500 kilometers separating the two, sending Eamonn down to under 3,000 health.
Yeah, that's 2,000 damage already. This looks quite interesting. We should be in the US, given the 20.
Oh, Clement is in Australia.
Oh wait, what am I saying? Yeah,
I just
looked at the 20 and I was like,
believe
okay, 20 miles, yep, that's US, and I didn't even look around.
I blindly believe everything you say. So when you say US and they go Australia, I'm like, oh no, what are the players doing? Little did I know, they were bamboozling Gelotris, not the other way around.
Are not driving on the left in the US. Gelotris lock in.
Wake up, Gelotris. It's time for games, my man. You can't have me scared like that.
I was looking at the speed sign and I was like, 20? Yep, that doesn't exist in Canada. It is US.
There we go.
But yeah, especially with all the palm trees along there, the architecture, the left drive. It is a crystal clear Australia. However, where we are, I don't know. The lineup looks very well on Eamonn's side. However, it was McKay, I think.
They were both so committed to the cities that they had found respectively that neither of them looked right in between them. So that's where the location is going to be. We bamboozled everyone. It was just to check you, chat. We were seeing if you were locked in, and no one corrected us, so clearly you weren't. You were just like me, blindly believing that this was a US round, but wasn't. Haha, we got you on that one. And now, let's get into round number 4.
Indeed, and we are in India. Is there anything we can really use here, though? I don't see any state-specific poll. I do think, however, that we are maybe further south, or at least central or south in the country.
So just to make sure this is not in the US.
This should not be in the US.
Is that going to be your thing from now on?
I think I've looked enough at this round.
You should create a lifelong meme? Oh no. Gelotris, you don't know what you did. This is now going to be your thing. Is this the US, Gelotris? Are you sure?
You should have asked 1 second into the round. Maybe I would have considered saying something weird, but nope. This should be India.
Let's see.
I'm very certain.
Way further.
Odisha.
Yeah. All the way up there towards the northeast, but good for Eamonn that he was closer to the target, able to, well, if not fully even things out, then at least get closer to the scoreline of Clement, taking away that flawless as we get into round number 5.
We do, and my first wipe is USA.
Well, there you go. Good on you. Seems like Clement agrees. Oh, wait, now it can't be US if you say it is, right? Wait, what?
Not change my mind. I will not change to Australia.
Is it Australia?
I will stay in the US.
Okay, fair enough. New Mexico.
Pretty interesting mountain there. It looks very spiky and recognizable. But of course, in the US you have a lot of mountains.
Eamonn instantly zoomed down towards New Mexico. He's looking at Kent. I mean, he's been very specific in his search here. Looking at these roads.
I mean, definitely with how the road is built, you would assume it's an interstate. So scanning along the interstates do make sense to me. And Eamonn decided to pick the 10, and I think Clement is also on Interstate 10.
Yeah, nearby one another.
You can see. Hovering that.
I think he was literally in the city.
Yeah.
Like Eamonn was within a couple, I mean, maybe 50 kilometers of the pin there.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. You can see it on his face there, second guessing himself. Going off of it, playing from behind as well, not only in this particular game, but also being down 1-0, would have really wanted to maximize on that.
Yep, that was really the opportunity for Eamonn to actually win that game. Because if he would have 5k, even just being a couple kilometers off on the right road there, or on the right span of the road, could have decided the game. Now we have a far east and far west red in Bangladesh.
Ooh, Eamonn, hands to the face. Is it gonna be enough? No, he stays alive. Breathe, Eamonn, breathe. My man, it ain't over yet. But the pressure is getting to him now, I feel like. Very, very high heart rate, you'd have to imagine, as we get ourselves into round number 7.
Yes, and we are in Nigeria. Not the first Nigeria round ahead. Eamonn was way closer on the first Nigeria round.
Distance in between them again. I mean, they literally can be 10 kilometers apart, and that's going to be game with 4 times multipliers now. Eamonn is so low at health. Not the US.
To agree, it looks sudden. It's not the US. I do like their guesses. However, I cannot tell you who's gonna be on the right side, because I could see it being on both.
Well, if Eamonn is wrong here, he better be less than 5 meters off, or it could be game. Let's see how it's going to be. Clement is down towards the shore. A little bit of micro adjustment there, as he is going to be further off, and I think it's going to be enough. Indeed, it will be. Eamonn too low at health to be able to claw back, and that one is Clement out victorious 2-0 once again.
Yep. There was some room for Eamonn to turn it around.
Yes.
Especially on the US. On this round as well, if he would have guessed in Lagos, I mean, with the high multipliers, could have been a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, seems like they both made the same guesses in the end, and that was the win for Clement that way.
Clement getting ever so much closer to reclaiming his golden bet frame. We'll see if that's going to happen or not. As we get a look at these matches that have been going on today so far, you can see outside of the matches we've covered, we have Pan taking on Eamonn just moments ago, winning that 2-1. Clement 2-0ing Flyme, and now 2-0ing Eamonn once more. In the meantime, Lero able to take down Strefan 2-1, and Harrier taking on Satsu, winning that 2-1. And we'll see him in this next matchup that we're going to have with him and Sheena in just a short moment. It's going to be a good one, I think, as Harrier, I mean, everyone talking about him, GeoGuessr, as being one of the big grinders right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was in call with Harrier not too long ago. He asked me kindly for some turkey coaching, and we hopped on call. We played a bit, and Harrier keeps updating me with how the progress goes, how the learnings go, and he is really grinding. It didn't stop.
So chat, you heard it here first. If we see a bad Harrier guess in Turkey, just blame GeoGuessr instantly. Bad coaching 101. We are going to now go take a short break. By all means, stick around. We'll see you all in just a few.
Dear fans of GeoGuessr, it's time for us to explore the world. Come and support your favorite players as they fight it out in the virtual boxing ring. The prize? A ticket to the World Cup. This year's major locations are Japan, inside the iconic Tokyo Tower. United States at DreamHack Dallas, one of the largest gaming festivals in the world. And finally, Sweden at the newest gaming festival, Glitched, in Jönköping. Go to geoguessr.com/World Cup for more information. We will see you there.
I got a chance to see Blinky lift the trophy after that insane grand final. With 2025 right around the corner, I have an idea.
GeoGuessr 2025 World Cup. Denmark. Let me show you what Copenhagen has to offer. We have historic buildings. World-class dining. We got the best beer in the world. Presumably. I welcome you to Copenhagen and the KB Hall, the venue of the 2025 GeoGuessr World Cup Finals.
Welcome back, everyone, to the GeoGuessr World League. I'm Toby, joined by Gelotris, and, well, if you missed out, we already played some really, really good matches, but don't you worry, we got way more matches coming your way, both here on this broadcast and later tonight in the evening slot as well. Gelotris, you know what? I'm gonna ask you a question that I never really ever do. What did you do during your 4-minute break?
I was watching a little one stream.
There you go. Nice.
Co-streamer for all the games that aren't hosted here. You can check little one out. He's co-hosting the other games. Of course.
Gotta get a shout out. Shout out to all the co-streamers,
Yep.
yourself included. Sometimes able to do co-streams. But now let's take a look at the majors. Let's keep you guys up to speed on everything that these guys are playing for right now, because the majors have already been announced. Not only that, but the APAC major tickets have already gotten on sale, and they're already sold out. So incredible that so many people in the community wants to attend these events. That's happening on May 18th in the Tokyo Tower. Then you have the Americas major taking place at DreamHack Dallas. That's gonna be on May 23rd and 25th, or to 25th. And then the EMEA major will be in Jönköping from June 13th to 15th. At the Glitched Esports Festival. Of course, all those tournaments taking place are playing, or have players playing to try and qualify for the finals, for the GeoGuessr World Championship in Copenhagen, Denmark, from August 29th to 30th, where you can attend. You can go over to geoguessr.com and get your tickets now. Also, if you want, you can add to the prize pool. We can make it the highest prize pool of any esports tournament ever. Maybe not, but we could try. If you subscribe here on Twitch, all those money will go directly to the prize pool. And not only that, not only do you increase the prize pool, but by subscribing here on the Twitch channel, you enter the raffle of a GeoGuessr goodie bag. Every week, we pick new winners, and yeah, you can get yourself hoodies, there's caps, there's a lot of cool merch coming your way should you be the lucky winner of this raffle. So make sure to check your Twitch DMs, as that's where the admins reach out. I can tell you that the winner of this week is astrophysic__19. So if you're here, open up those DMs and make sure that you give your info to the Twitch mods, so they know where to send all the cool swag. And also, if you are planning on attending the GeoGuessr World Championship, there's a discount up there, where if you want to stay in Malmö for the tournament and go see a bit of Sweden as well during your stay, then you can get yourself 50% discount at the Quality Hotel View. So with that now out of the way, Gelotris, we're getting back, we're getting ready for the next set of matches coming your way. We said it just before this break, Harrier versus Sheena. Harrier, I think, is by many considered, again, a guy who's been grinding heavily. From what you're saying, a guy who's now an expert on Turkey. Is that what I heard you say earlier? He knows everything there is to know about Turkey. So talk to me a bit about Sheena, as I feel like we've prepared the crowd for the Harrier match now.
He's getting there. But yeah, I would say both. I mean, Sheena has, I would say, more experience than Harrier. I mean, he did compete in the first World Cup as well. Sheena, he did compete in the APAC. He's competing in the World League. So a little bit more on the board in that terms. And I feel like both players really focus on the format that's needed for this World League. So they try to improve as well as on moving, also on no move and an NPC. I feel like they practice everything. Whereas a lot of players really are a main for a mode. I feel like those players really try to be well balanced in every mode.
Yeah, definitely. You can see it here. Sheena trying to claw into the top 12. Look at how many players are sat equal in points or just 1 or 2 ahead of him. In the same time, Harrier wanting to strike into the top 5 and could get closer to doing just that with a good game here. So 2 very, very capable players taking on one another right now.
And we hear the music. Love that sound.
Bow, bow, bow.
Now we see it. And we are in Canada, I want to say.
So not
you have
the
a
US.
single yellow line. Shouldn't be. We have a single yellow line. You can see it from time to time in the US, but definitely way more likely to be in Canada. Especially on a road like this.
I feel like oftentimes you can go down these roads and you get very lucky if you end up getting useful information. Of course, you do have indicators of which interstate road or whatnot you're on, but oftentimes you also go on for kilometers on end without a single sign being shown.
Yeah.
But for both Sheena and Harrier, it seems like they've gotten at least some info early on. There's a golf course next to Harrier, so if he is proficient in Canadian golf courses, then that's good meta knowledge to have right now.
Probably. I mean, it also really depends on the province in Canada, where if you move down the road.
Sheena, my man, golf course entrepreneur, knows everything there is to know about this area of Canada, doing a lot of damage to Harrier here in round 1. I mean, Russia scale damage really, in terms of distance in between him and size of the language. Sheena maybe feeling more comfortable today as he's playing in his like Japan player jersey.
Yeah, he's in his player jersey, getting the right vibes.
Quick guess here from Sheena as well.
Yeah, it is.
Usually takes
Wind
his
to
time.
Russia again, should be south. I don't see the mountain ridge to the south though. That is a bit scary, but yeah.
The quick.
Magic. Seems like Harrier wasn't too sure.
Yeah, the quick. Whew.
Tearing off some switch.
Gotta lock in, man. He didn't expect Sheena to be playing this fast today. He's going, okay, I guess we're just starting every round in 3rd gear. Can't play this one slow. As we now get ourselves into round number 3.
Yeah, and again in Germany. Should be Eastern Germany by the architecture. So the post check out, just the vibes, you know. Kind of looks like Poland, Czechia. We have an area code. Was there also a town? Probably. I couldn't catch it on Harrier's screen. I was on Sheena's screen for a while, but I know Harrier had that. Now we have Magdeburg, pretty big town. We have assigned to Magdeburg, but Harrier just plunking in Magdeburg, covering all the areas that are possible. However, Sheena's also getting to a good sign. He has the 14 and the 2 intersecting, which will also lead to Magdeburg. So both players will end up around there, and it was southwest of it. And by just clicking downtown, Harrier got closer. Because sometimes you just gotta... I do respect it. I think that's also my playstyle if I would ever play a moving duel. Just to send it down whenever I have some information to get somewhat in the right area.
Exactly. When you're within, I mean, 50-some kilometers, pretty much guaranteed, then the 5k ain't really worth fighting for. As we get some good info here on Sheena's screen, you'd imagine that Harrier's gonna have access to it real soon as well. He does, in fact, already. But it is interesting. I mean, talking of moving and the impact, like how people play moving these days in tournaments. We've seen various tournaments recently kind of experimenting with the rules of how moving should be done. Maybe come next year, a couple of years from now, it'll be looking very different to how it is right now, as Harrier lines it up, finds the 5k. I think Sheena could have found it as well had he cared to. That could have been a 10k, but Sheena, didn't want to go for it.
Yep. Didn't go for the 10k, not pleasing us.
Train tracks today.
With it, indeed. And we are in Russia. It is very sandy, makes me think Surgut. Don't know how far north we are off Surgut, because I mean the further north you go, the less trees you see, but I would say it's still...
What is Sheena cooking on this one? Does she actually know?
If you would go to spawn, and I could check if there's actually the curve to the west.
It could be. We didn't get the 10k in the previous one.
This is the 10k.
There we have it. We actually get it. The first 10k of I don't know how many broadcasts in a row now, at least that I've been part of. Get it going in chat, everyone. The 10k emote is there for a reason, and we never ever get to use it.
Let's go. Finally, we have been waiting for it. Thank you, Harrier and Sheena.
10k in Russia, in the open. Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't really that much information. I mean, as I said, the region was clear. Surgut and North Surgut, they will know that. but finding the railroad, the right railroad, because there are a lot. There's a lot of, I think it's mining companies or whatever it is, but there are a lot of railroads north of Circuit. So not just only finding one, but you also have to be on the right one. It's very impressive stuff.
Should underline, of course, that it's not like a 10k has never happened before. They just come in very rarely. I mean, not that the players can't make 10ks happen. It's just the value of actually lining up the 5ks aren't usually worth the time spent. But here, it made perfect sense for both of them, as they will be equally far, at least close to equally far, from the target here in East Coast Brazil.
Yeah, they both had the area code, but after that I didn't see them spotting a town name. Probably had one because it was a very small place. Maybe just didn't find it. And now, what are we looking at? Let's see.
Vende.
We have some Italian signs, Italian language. Again,
apartment for
looking
sale.
north. This kind of looks like Slovenia, you know? Maybe we are close to Slovenia. Could be northeast Italy then. Just by the looks.
Could definitely be. Ooh, Harrier with a good regional sign. Unfortunately, not one of those that's fully zoomed out with a bit red marker on the whole country saying, "You are here." We do like it when we get those every once in a while.
Those are pretty good. Okay, we are in the Rovetta apparently. That is
Sheena
the commune.
All the way towards the northwest, towards the Alps and the Dolomites. But we'll see if Harrier opts to agree. He's gonna go, nope, straight in between. Not really committing Slovenia or West. And it is gonna be right in the middle.
Gonna be in between them. Again, Harry. Looks like it was a bit scary for Harry again. Looks like a relief for him that it didn't end up being between them.
More train tracks. So that's gonna be
tracks.
that's the thing for the day. We thought it was gonna be US or anything along those lines. Nope. Today's the thing all the matches today have in common is train tracks. Who would have thought?
We could see it here as well, you know? I mean, we have the
Yeah.
5, which is a long road, you know?
Double
but
10k in one moving game. That would be now that would be something I've never seen before. At least in the World League.
Nope. I mean, do you know who's playing in the evening today?
Yeah, a lot of good players.
There's a matchup
Yeah.
that might bring some. We have Blinky.
Sheena might have it.
consoles,
Sheena
but
might have it. He does
Sheena
indeed.
knows his
He knows his
railroads.
trains. He knows his trains. Any train spotters out there in the chat, join Sheena, because he will tell you where to go. Hands held together for Sheena. Very, very pleased with yet another 5k. Is that his third 5k in this
Impressive
moving
stuff.
game?
I mean, on the one location he didn't bother to actually click on
Oh,
the
true,
railroads.
true,
He didn't get
true.
the 5k there. But I will count that. I
And
will
they
count
all
that.
were train 5ks in one moving
Yeah.
game.
Actually, no, we actually had a lot.
Oh, it's fun. All of them, including the trains as we hit in round 9. Harrier playing from behind, but now trying to claw back here. Only one more round to do it, though. It's still possible. He is at 3,200 health behind. Let's see, where are they headed here in round number 10?
Indeed, and do we have an area code? Yes, we have 05, which is southwestern France. Still a pretty big region because all of that quarter in the southwest of France is 05. You could also go even further and learn the digits after that to narrow it down even more. Sheena is praying.
I was gonna say, unless if there's a 5k in the making here, I don't think it's gonna be enough. And even if he had, I don't think that would have made it either. So it's gonna be Sheena out victorious. He's a genius at trains. And to steal fake Lars's comment in chat, because I giggled when he wrote it. He is well trained in those 5ks. You know what? I'll steal that one, chat. I'll steal that one because that was too good to give up on. It's one of those where you don't. It's not enough to make you giggle, but you do like a heavy breathe out of your nostrils. Like, it was fun. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Keep him coming, chat. Keep him coming. As we get into game number 2, it is no move.
Indeed. But it looks, I want to say it looks like Italy again, but trying to figure out
What
where
sends
we
you
would
Italy?
be.
Is it just vibes, or is there anything specific you're looking at?
Do you see this handrail next to the guardrail?
Yeah.
That's very common in Italy. I mean, it's a couple countries, but
Okay.
definitely very common in Italy. Then we have that concrete pole with 2 sides sticking out to the right and 1 side sticking out to the left on the top.
I am
That's
a little worried for
Ooh.
Sheena. I'm not seeing any train tracks nearby.
He's in Albania.
Yeah, jumping over the
See
pond.
now, I was confused because Albania shares a lot of infrastructural stuff with Italy.
Ooh. On point again. I mean, Sheena woke up ready to play today.
Yep, now it makes sense because I mean Albania has the same bollards, same
Now I saw the
poles, they
result.
use
Now
a
it
lot of
makes sense,
similar
guys.
stuff. And I was like, how is this Italy? Where would it be in Italy? That's why I was a bit confused about my Italy shout. But Sheena was smart enough to recognize that Albania is also a possibility.
That's Sheena's advantage. We asked him what he had for breakfast, but that doesn't matter. He already had dinner. He's
Yeah.
that far ahead, man. He's at Japan,
He's just
ready
ahead.
and playing. He's had the whole day to warm up, ready for these matches to come.
Let's see, we have them in Colombia here.
Wait. Sheena, you can't zoom that far in.
Zooming in, you know. I mean,
Can't
pretty
zoom
flat,
that far
pretty
in.
green is, again,
He's...
not that much left, but...
He is feeling it today. Even if this is not on point, this is, I mean, his kisses are coming in with such confidence. And you know what? He was further north before he readjusted. He might have just gone away from his 5K. He is playing with so much confidence today.
Definitely. Sheena seems to be very locked in today.
Beautiful
Doesn't
beach
make
here.
it easy for Harrier, it is. I'll have to look a
Is that
bit
car not
longer
driving on the
ahead
left
here.
side of the road? Oh, it's parked. No,
It's
mind.
parked, yeah.
I got confused for a
I mean, with
second.
those-
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Very big port there, right? What port would it be? I mean, I guess there are a lot of big
There are a
ports
few
in the
big to choose
Netherlands,
from, yeah.
but we had that Dion,
Give it to us, Sheena.
the
Line it up.
lighthouse.
Line it up.
but I feel like we would have a somewhat bigger city across the water. Therefore, I
Ooh.
don't like.
He jumps to the other side.
now.
Should have been even further. He was far towards the north, but readjusting, getting himself closer to the target. Harrier really feeling the pain today. As Sheena came in ready for this one.
Very intense. Sheena doesn't make it easy at all. And now... Is that Chiapas, maybe? I'm not sure. I was feeling very far south in Mexico.
What sent you there? Just vibe guessing
the
based on the nature?
fence.
Or
Yes,
The
it's like
fence?
very green. And also, Chiapas has those fences that are combined with trees. They pretty much go through trees. And
oh,
Sheena is in Chiapas.
He is
I
thinking
like
it
that a
over.
lot.
He's thinking it
I
over.
would've- Nope.
Ooh,
Fail.
a rare slip up that's gonna come to cost pretty dearly for him. Almost half his health taken. Harrier able to line up the scores, at least to some extent. I mean, if we are to go by what has been the momentum shifts today, Harrier is gonna win this one. If we are to kind of follow that, now he's gonna get a big round here, then swing, and all of a sudden he's ahead in an NPC. But let's see if Sheena can deny him that pleasure as we go. I was gonna say Faroe Islands, but this looks more like Iceland.
Yep, this should be Iceland, definitely.
Beautiful.
Both players will recognize it. Now it is a matter of maybe scanning this body of water, combining with the land on the other side, if it is land. Still a lot of places that are possible. Sheena did find something that seems to look good, but it is Iceland after all. And as you can see, yet alone on this map, we see 4 bodies of water going into the land there.
Yeah.
So it's just
A lot of fjords, a
Very
lot of
hot.
bays around here. I don't know if I'm extra sassy today, but whenever I see a round like this and someone in chat just writes Minneapolis, I just start giggling. It's so dumb, but it's still so funny. Chat, you're getting me all the time today. I cannot keep track of everything at the same time here. Good thing for these guys that they can. Sheena hovers down towards southeastern Australia. We'll see if Harrier is going to follow.
I'm not so sure about the country here.
Australia, Chile.
I mean, this fencing looks weird for Australia, I guess. But the landscape looks weird for Chile.
Chat, what are you thinking? Chat, get in on this. Where are you going? Where are you going, Joe? Just give me one. You can't commit.
I think if...
Give me one. Give me one.
Okay, Chile.
Chile, great. He's in Chile.
Because
what are you thinking?
of the
Chat is in South
fences.
Africa and Poland and Jesus Christ, Chat. Why did I even ask? You guys are insane. Paris, easy downtown Paris. We'll see if it's going to be true or not. Harrier commits to it. Sheena.
Oh, Sheena switched.
He has 5 more seconds. He's going to go over there as well. In before it's going to be Australia, and Sheena would have had it, but no.
And
He
he's on
wins it too. He was in
Oh my
Australia.
God.
For 55 seconds, Sheena was on another continent. And yet he comes in and sets up 29 kilometers out. What?
Sheena is playing with us. Sheena
What?
is playing with us here. Was that a show? Was that a show? Or did he actually think Australia?
Smile, my man, smile.
But, yeah.
That's the best smirk you're gonna get on Sheena's face. This is the epiphany
Definitely.
of Sheena smiling all over his face. When you get a little,
Yep.
that's when
That
you know.
is
That's
already
as
a big
happy as it
smile.
gets. What a game! Wow. I mean,
Definitely.
you know what? We talked all about Harrier coming into this matchup, how he's been grinding, how everyone is talking about him as being one of the players to really rise the ranks these days. But Sheena gave him no chances. He could have taken on literally anyone with that playstyle and beat them today.
Yeah, definitely. And
Incredible.
overall, over the moving game as well as the no move, I mean, he did play very, very well.
Yeah.
I said it during the game as well. He really didn't make it easy at all for Harrier. Harrier did also have some very good guesses, but Sheena was just somehow almost always on it. Really
Train
had that
buff
small
from
blunder
Strong.
in Mexico, but to be fair, I also thought it's Chiapas, so maybe I can defend him there. He did commit. I mean, it's always those clues where you don't know if you should trust it or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a very well played game from both sides.
That was incredible. Absolutely incredible to watch. I love it when we get good games going like that, when players are able to, with pinpoint accuracy, get that close to the targets. But that's the match done for now. We go into the next one. It's going to be Yanik versus Pan. Pan, we saw earlier, we didn't see, but happened off stream, take on Eamonn, where I believe he lost 2-1. Could be wrong on that one. I was just off the top of my head thinking here. And Yanik, in the meantime, gonna try and see if he can climb the leaderboard a bit here. He's sat further down towards the bottom. I had a really good chat with him last week. Incredibly nice guy. As you can see, sat down in 34th. Even if he doesn't have a chance to make it into the regionals, into the finals, he still has a lot to play for, because he's a guy who's still, I mean, as with everyone else, is wanting to climb up those ladders.
Definitely. And yeah, both names I see a lot when I play ranked team duels. Yanik and Pan. Yeah, they are almost always in queue whenever I play. I either see Yanik or Pan. And both players who aren't that long in the competitive scene as well. Somewhat newer players. I mean, not really new to the game, but still for the competitive scene, somewhat new. And yeah.
So into
Yanik
game number 1 we
versus
go.
Pan, we are on the Labrador Road, but it is a very long road, so finding a lineup can be quite difficult, but Yanik is on a east-west stretch.
Oh, I thought he had it for a second. I mean, he does have it, don't get me wrong, but thought it was a 5K
I mean,
to start off the day would have been a good start.
Being less than 1 kilometer on the location on the Happy Valley Goose Bay road.
That's a win. That
is, yeah, that is.
You think this is the
impressive.
US? Delotris?
I do agree.
Yep, good.
100%.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
1,000,000%.
Not Australia? Not Australia?
No.
No? Okay,
No
okay.
other
just...
possibilities. Oh, we also had a flag.
Ooh. And
So-
we have a good state sign there as well.
Um,
On Yanik scene. Isn't that what it is?
do
the
we?
blue
No,
one,
those are,
37?
no, those are county signs.
Ah, county. Yeah, never mind.
So if you know your counties, then it's helpful. but the majority of the players don't know. The count is just too many.
It's only Debra. Only
It's
Debra
only
knows
Debra.
all of them.
Yep.
As they're both in and around Nebraska. Well, I scratched that pen. Just one state further north towards South Dakota. Will come up victorious here in round number 2. 800 damage done to Yanik, as it practically just, well, yeah, evens out the scores.
Let's see, I'm actually very excited about this matchup because this is another one where I have quite a hard time to really make a prediction. Of course, Pan has the upper hand if you look at the win rate, but still both players are very, very strong. Especially Pan. I've seen a lot of very impressive guesses from him lately. Especially last week, there was this Indonesia round on the coast. I think you were hosting it, right? I think you were on the cast, yeah. Pan, I mean, out of nowhere, he got the right road there. Yeah, really impressing me with those guesses, and that's only one of them.
Yeah. It's incredible. As I said before, I mean, when
Yanik,
other players can get that good, that is absolutely
Yanik
insane.
also doesn't miss on some locations where I'm clueless, so I feel like both can surprise me in those terms.
Down towards the southeast, just out east of Kalmar, is where this one takes them. And as you're saying, as we've been saying so many times in the past, I mean, Sweden, incredibly difficult to get the proper pin on with the terrain being so similar around the country, as we now head into round number 4.
We do indeed. We should be in Ecuador. Also a country where you get those single yellow lines, but especially double guardrail is a very common thing you see in Ecuador. And combining that makes it pretty easy. Could always still also be Mexico with a single line and double guardrails, but by the looks does strike you more as Ecuador. Yanik did look on the sign. He is in Montalvo, which is one of the towns given on this sign.
Yeah. A couple of comers out as it comes to an end. We head on in to round number 5. Did you know what that song was, Just
I don't know the title, but I do think I know this song. Is it just Ecuador?
It is.
Okay.
Into the mountains we go. Look how beautiful this is. They'll take their swings down the curvy bents here and try and see what they can get off of it.
We have a sign in was multiple languages on it. It's Italian, but again we have this handrail going along the guardrail that I mentioned earlier. This time it's not Albania. This time, you better believe me, we are in Italy. We have German and Italian on the signs, so I would assume we are somewhere northeast.
Yeah.
Maybe around Bolzano, that area.
Beautiful city, by the way. Very beautiful city. If you get a chance, go to the mountains of North Tyrol. Very, very beautiful. As Trento is where Yanik is setting up shop. A little further west of that. Yeah, I mean, he did alter his position just in the end of it, but they're both going to be within the same area. A lot of people in chat, I mean, earlier today as well, said it's very hard to pinpoint in Italy, but despite that, both of them within 40 kilometers here. Good guesses.
Yep.
What are you thinking here? Yanik very quickly to go down to Coritiba.
Polls. We have an area code. Okay, it's 42, so it should be RGDS. Oh. No. RGS is 50. It's far up.
It's okay. I accept you anyway. You are hereby excused.
Thank you. One of the few that accept me for blundering my area codes in Brazil.
As long as you don't do any more Australias on the US rounds, then you're okay.
I will be extra careful for that. At least for today.
Only for today. Only for today. Headed in now. Round number 7. Practically tied scoreboard here between these two. There's a lot of info available here once again.
Yes, we are in Peru. It also said a city on that, I think. Something with Paz. I don't know if that is a city, but I would believe it is.
And the first to log in here. It's
Both.
been Yanik playing the quicker game. Last couple of rounds. We'll see if he's gonna make something happen with the time that he has available. Nope. Actually, opted to continuously move a bit further north, taking him further from the target. Still out victorious in this round, but could have been even more damage come through.
Yep. I must say that was pretty far south. I also thought we are closer to Ayacucho area. And now let's see what we have off the bat. We are in France. We have French poles. The spiky top. And we have a sign for Yanik. Don't really know what it said, but I know he had a sign.
Yeah.
It's now hidden by his map. Did he make usage of that? I don't assume so. But
Further
good.
south it
Region
was.
guesses both somewhat covering the southeast, but it was
Down
deeper there.
Yeah, towards Orange. They have some very beautiful amphitheaters down in that area of southern France, down by Rhône, or whatever the river is called. It goes down towards the water. In the meantime now, both of the players heading far down towards the south here. Is that yet another of those super famous roads, since they're both
Yes.
instantly there?
Yes, because it is all yellow lines, which is usually not used in Chile. Usually it is white lines. But in their national parks and on some roads, it is all yellow. So you know, if it looks solid and you have all yellow lines, you're on the
Yep.
9.
You are on the 9, and Yanik is going to be right on top of it. 5K here to set himself even further ahead, coming in to round number 10.
Again, Yanik is really impressing me with those pinpoints. I mean,
Yes.
we had it first off in the Canada round, where he had the right span of the road, and this time again getting the right span.
And from a
even
Yanik 5K,
5K.
we now get a Gelotris 5K in Turkey.
Oh, surely.
No pressure, no pressure.
What is there to use? So far, there's really nothing. I mean, we are somewhere in the west. I can tell you that much. But besides that, still a lot of possibilities, because I don't know if it's the northern or the southern mountains. It's saying Akhisar, that's west of Konya. Fairly big city. It is visible from a pretty far distance. But they both go way further northwest than it is. But yeah, there it is. You see it on the map.
Yeah, round
I mean,
10.
with west of... Okay, I said west
Yeah.
of Konya to give a pinpoint because I didn't know which other city to mention, because all other cities aren't that famous.
Happens like that. Happens like that. Yanik able to take the first game, but it ain't over yet. Of course, Pan still with a great chance to strike back here as we head on into no move.
We do. Where are no move? We have concrete slabs on the road, which you see a lot in the Philippines, in Thailand as well, but we can tell that we are driving on the right because we see the front of the car, and Philippines drives on the right side, whereas Thailand is on the left side, so you can use that to distinguish in case you are not sure, but in this case it does indeed look like the Philippines.
So how to differentiate like
However.
islands in the Philippines in a situation like this where you have no signs,
You
not
don't.
really a whole lot to go by?
There's some vegetational clues. There are like some region-specific palm trees.
Yanik is fully
You have
committed
some
to this island.
region-specific pines. And some other trees, I don't even know the type, which are exclusive to Davao almost. But besides that, if you don't have those given, it is difficult.
They're both on the same island. We'll see if they're going to be right in being there. Actually, no, as a matter of fact, they were not on the same island. I thought they were, and that's me missing out on that one. And turning into 1,000 damage, 1,100 of that done to Yanik. As Pan gets off to the better start here, no move.
2 islands getting covered by their guesses, and it is another one. Classic Philippines. As I said, really hard to tell where you are if you don't have those very specific clues.
Now, Colombia.
had a
What's one of the first
cross.
myths, I learned, was the Colombian cross. And there we have it. in
Yeah,
its
that's
pride.
pretty good.
Yeah?
But you definitely need to be bit careful with that because you can have crosses in Brazil as well.
Yep, I've also learned that the hard way.
Yep. And after you have learned that, then you know that you also have to kind of use the looks a bit. Or really tell which type of cross is the Colombian cross, because the one in Brazil looks a bit different, it's a bit thicker.
Exactly. Now, down towards Bangladesh we go, at least according to Yanik, but really not a whole lot to go with here.
Not
I
really,
see that,
but I must say Bangladesh is a very recognizable country, with the flatness, especially, and all those palm trees.
Both close here once again. As the score is really as tight as it could be. Just a couple of points separating the two, but yet another in the open location with no signage. Not a whole lot of houses to work with. Top side of... Okay.
Sabah poles. This double bar pole here is a Sabah specific pole. So we should be in the province of Sabah somewhere. And we even have the right road from Yanik.
On the
Playing
spot.
really well.
Yet again, yeah, exactly. Playing incredibly well right now. They both are on this particular matchup. As we head on in at round number 5, out in the open once more.
Indeed, and now Philippines guess. I am not sure whether this is Thailand or Philippines for now. Do we have a poll? I assume there was something. And that is a very close guess. From Pan, dealing 1.1k, even though Yanik isn't that far off, but being that close, just on the other side of the water.
It's getting tricky. It's getting tricky. As Pan able to get himself ahead at least by a little bit. Look at this, the averages on their guesses here. Pan way ahead, but, well, I guess it's a good opportunity for Yanik to try and increase his average.
Yes, and we should be somewhere along the western side of Brazil.
Oh, just western side.
I don't know if we are like in the Amazonas, in Para, even Mato Grosso is possible, I think. One of the three is my vibe.
Well, Pan
looks very
towards the north. But where is Yanik going? Further west, and it was way
Mato Grosso.
further south. The Yanik's immediate reaction there, yes, he wins the round, but that could have been a whole hell of a lot more points taken off of Pan's health bar there had he been closer. Could have even won the game had he fully committed towards the southern side.
Again, we have a county sign. Are those birch trees? I'm not sure, but the trees definitely look more northern. It's northern vegetation here. Wish I could tell you the species. I always only say these trees are northern. I wish I could tell you what they are called, but I just use them by their looks and not what they actually are. I just recognize how they look like, and yeah, those looked very northern.
Did indeed, and indeed they were. As 500 points now separating the two here, coming into round 8 as we get a little tribute to the Mongolian backpackers, or mountaineers, whatever you want to call it. At least that's arguably one of the most recognizable cars, at least to me.
Yes.
In all of Street View, effectively.
Yeah, even the new coverage in Mongolia also has this.
Thank you. That makes it so much easier for me. I appreciate it.
They drove with a kind of similar car, also with these straps on it.
I saw a race once where you start in England and you have to drive through the you drive from England to Mongolia, and it's all for charity. And people build they don't build their own cars, but the car can't have a value of more than like 10,000. And I'm telling you, the last stretch where you have to drive through the Mongolian desert, a lot of cars break down there. So it makes sense that they have everything needed on this car in case they get stuck out in the middle of the Mongolian desert. Not easy to do, as they both are practically sat on top of each other 1 kilometer apart. As 18 damage goes Yanik's way.
Hey, Toby, we should make that challenge.
Driving
there.
I would rather be alive,
But
I think.
No, you don't get me. on Google Street View.
On Street View, yes. I'll drive from the UK. I'll just hold down spacebar for 2 months.
Yeah.
And
just fast move it over there.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. As this round number 9, a crucial one at that, takes us down towards Argentina, at least according to Yanik. As I mean, he's at 300 points down. He would really want to get a good lead here coming into round 10.
Again, we have a very flat landscape, no mountains at all. Again, we should be somewhere on the eastern side. Again, I don't know how far north or south we are on that side, but you can use the road alignment. But it is just Argentina for you, man. It is so difficult. I have not solved this country, and many other pros also didn't.
Now you see Yanik there. Really wanted something big in this one. Not gonna happen, but there is still one more round to do it. Let's see if he can claw back in it. Set just around 600 points out. Might be going for the quick guess here to try and put some pressure on Pan.
Yes, I mean, I'm not so sure. It looks very dry mountainous, which puts you more towards the west. So, I don't know, Washington, Oregon could make sense. I don't know which one it is. The road lines don't look like the Oregon lines, so maybe Washington is more likely. But definitely both possible.
Very well be.
So let's see who's right here.
Distance is big enough in between for it to be huge. Yanik is closer. Is it going to be more than 600 worth, though? Indeed, it will be, and therefore, he wins it. Wow.
Not too happy about that one, but that is one way to get in the 3 points for Yanik. It always sucks to win that way. I mean, I can understand the reaction there. But hey, he deserved it. Yanik did play very well. He did play very well. We ignored the last round and the way how he did end. But overall, he played very, very well. Both sides did, but Yanik was just a bit closer here and there. So
doesn't matter if it's week 1 or if it's week 18. What matters is that you get yourself as many points as you possibly can. And Yanik there able to grab 3 points from that matchup. In the meantime, we saw, or we didn't see, but what took place was Malfunction taking on Anu, and she wins it 2-1. And Lero taking on Satsu comes out victorious 2-1 as well. And speaking of Satsu, we're going to be seeing him in just a short moment up against Sheena, who we saw before play maybe one of his best days of GeoGuessr ever. I'm not sure, but he was really locked in, so hopefully we'll see him be else locked in here in the next set of matches, Roaches.
Yeah, I also had that feeling. He, as you said, looked very locked in, very focused, didn't allow any big blunders. As I said, I think the Australia hover, he was just playing with us. He was just playing with us.
Maybe he was.
He did it for the show. But yeah, besides that, he was really not making any mistakes at all. Also, his pinpointings isn't known to beat a speedrunner or a pinpointer, but still managed to get very, very precise on a lot of these rounds.
Yes.
So let's see if he can keep that up.
Definitely. Well, but before that, we're going to go to a short break for the last time today. Don't worry, guys. We'll be back in just a few with Satsu against Sheena.
Dear fans of GeoGuessr, it's time for us to explore the world. Come and support your favorite players as they fight it out in the virtual boxing ring. The prize? A ticket to the World Cup. This year's major locations are Japan, inside the iconic Tokyo Tower. United States at DreamHack Dallas, one of the largest gaming festivals in the world. And finally, Sweden at the newest gaming festival, Glitched, in Jönköping. Go to geoguessr.com/World Cup for more information. We will see you there.
I got a chance to see Blinky lift the trophy after that insane grand final. With 2025 right around the corner, I have an idea.
GeoGuessr 2025 World Cup. Denmark. Let me show you what Copenhagen has to offer. We have historic buildings, world-class dining. We got the best beer in the world. presumably, I welcome you to Copenhagen and the KB Hall, the venue of the 2025 GeoGuessr World Cup Finals.
Here we are, back and ready with more GeoGuessr coming your way. One set of matches left before we round off the show here, and then quick break, and then even more GeoGuessr later tonight. I'm Toby, I'm joined by Gelotris and Joseph. We are about to once again see the Japanese mastermind, who is Sheena, now take on Satsu. And I think a lot of people who might not know Sheena too well, now they definitely do know him. The master of train tracks is Sheena himself. But talk to me a bit about Satsu and what Sheena can expect coming into this match.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think the majority, if you follow GeoGuessr Esports, you should be familiar with that name, with Sheena. Been competing for a while now, it's been 2 years. So yeah, but Satsu is more of a new face. I mean, he was in the Polish wildcard. I think that's where you could see Satsu playing the first time on the screen. And after that in the World League, of course. Also, I would say someone who prefers no move NMPZ over moving. I think we also talked to Satsu, right, on an interview where he said he doesn't like moving that much. Yeah, and that's maybe the advantage for Sheena here, who just plays all modes and is good at all modes. So that could be a bit tricky for Satsu. But besides that, both very, very strong players. And again, another match where it's really hard to make a clear prediction.
I do love the fact that after these breaks, all chat is talking about is how Danish beer is not the best beer in the world. That's apparently the only takeaway from the announcement of a world championship is, we have better beer than you guys. And you know what? I fully respect that everyone is entitled to their own opinions. And what our opinion is that we're going to see a great game of GeoGuessr Esports right here, right now. Also, Danish beer is the best. Just saying. As we go on into match number 1.
I do believe you. I do believe you. Yes, we start in Malaysia here. White lines, left drive. I suppose. Do we have any province specific post? Because it looks like Borneo, but I don't know whether it is Sarawak or Sabah. Let's see. We have a hedge from Satsu covering both mainland and Borneo Island, but Sheena is not just on the Borneo Island, he's also in the right province.
And Sheena, well, I mean, if there was any doubt as to whether he was still as locked in as he was earlier against Harrier, well, here's your answer. Almost 3,000 damage done to Satsu in round number 1.
Yeah, and we move over to a round in Bangladesh. We have a little bit of info. It's saying Minaipur or something. This is what I can read from there. Minaipur? Should be the
Well, you tell me, because I
town.
don't know what it says.
I can't make out the second letter. Or is it... It's definitely poor in the end. And Limol? Poor?
What is happening with Sheena? He's flying all around the map. It was up towards the north. I'm not sure if we glitched out there for a second, but he was in India, then it was back in Bangladesh like 3 times in the last half second. But,
Oh, it was Dinaipur. Okay.
Dinaipur. The more
Pretty
we know.
big city, actually.
Yeah. If only they knew.
Northwest. Come on now. I would
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just
could-
waiting for you to tell us where in Australia we are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, now it's just coming up over and over and over again, just so everyone can bring that up.
A lot of US rounds, man. Last week and this week, it's been
Yes.
pretry crazy. Not a single Denmark round either. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Sheena, well, he feels like going to Nashville, Tennessee. And, well, we'll see.
Yes,
He's gonna be right
we
about
have
that.
the 615 area code.
Ooh, Washington
Seems
for
like he used
Satsu.
that.
Gotta study those phone numbers. That's a 3-round game.
Definitely do, and that's really where
Wow.
it did show. That's the type of knowledge you learn as a moving player, and you fully ignore it as a no-move player. And that was really different here. As I said, Sheena, who is also learning that stuff for moving, really dominated the game. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Let's see if Satsu can now turn it around. Getting into more of his natural habitat. The issue is, his natural habitat in game modes is, well, Sheena's natural habitat in country.
Indeed. We have the pole plates, which are the... what is that region again? I'm blanking. But the one
That's
with
okay.
Toyama and Niigata.
You never admit that you're blanking. You just
Hokuriku?
say, let's leave it to the chat to guess.
Okay,
You know?
I
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
have
yeah,
to,
yeah.
I have to Google that. Hokuriku.
And
Was that
while our
Hokuriku?
expert is getting
Okay,
even smarter,
It was Hokuriku.
had to Google,
I
is
was-
this USA or no? Okay, it's not America. Great, we'll continue. Satsu, confirming up towards the northern coast.
I am allowed to Google. I'm just yapping over the game, but yeah, it was Hokuriku region. They are both in the Hokuriku region, but it is a long stretch along the north.
I love chat instantly going banned for Googling. Geologists out here cheating. What is this?
I was double checking. Okay, I said
Well.
Hokuriku.
Sheena doesn't take any time. Well, actually, it did kind of took a minute, but able to come out victorious in Japan in round number 1. We'll see if he can continue his streak as we get into round number 2. And what are you thinking? Satsu is in Italy. Quickly at that, too close to San Marino.
Yeah, these buildings kind of look Mediterranean, but I wouldn't be able to tell on which side we are. Could see France, could see Italy.
Ooh,
I didn't
Sheena,
think Spain.
back and forth. It's up committing
It
to...
is France. Yeah.
Wow, and West at that, too. I mean, this game might be over before we even realize it. Satsu, you gotta start turning this around, my man.
Yeah, not the easiest round to be fair. I think I would have ended up with the same guess as Sheena simply because of the fact I would have covered Spain, France, and Italy with my guess. But yeah, very good guess
Now-
nonetheless.
Mountains across Albania is where Sheena is headed. You know what? I'm just on
Yes,
team
the
Sheena.
polls
If he goes
do
Albania,
check out.
it's got to be right.
Yeah, I mean both
Oh, wow.
players, and that is a very close guess from Zatsu there.
Satsu barely even zoomed in on Europe before
Yeah.
he clicked, and he's 2.4 kilometers off.
Yeah,
That's
I mean he took his time to really look at everything he had on the location.
yeah.
And
That's a
got the
very
better
quick
guess
flick.
down. And again, a somewhat straightforward round. It should be somewhere around the biggest circle of Joburg. But I don't know where exactly.
Well, Sheena bouncing around a bit as well, trying to figure out where he's supposed to go. This time around off by a bit as well. So finally, Satsu able to breathe, able to get a couple of rounds under the belt. And now we'll see if he can keep this small but ever so increasing momentum going his way.
And again, in Australia, I mean, Sheena had to make a couple guesses in Australia today already. So let's see where he will end up here. I do think that we are in South Australia. I hope shouldn't be Western. So yeah, South Australia. We have Satsu going east of Adelaide. Sheena more Western, hedging the ocean.
Hedging.
But look at that.
Ooh, big hit from Satsu. Strikes back, and now back in the leading seat. We'll see if he can maintain this spot. Currently set up 1,300 points, but again, give us just one single train track, and Sheena's right back in it.
Satsu really showing us and proving why he is in this pro league, because on the last couple rounds he didn't strike as strong as he would have liked, but now it seems like he's locked in. Let's see if he can keep up that momentum.
What do they see there in the distance? You have 3 cities indicated. Not sure if it's big enough for them to read what it actually says, but Sheena commits up towards the north. Satsu is looking the same direction too.
I don't know if you could read the number, maybe the road number. It's maybe a bit bigger than the town itself, but it did look nonetheless. So
yes, Sheena's up there, right on the border. It's not going to be enough for game nowhere near, but still, an ability or a chance for him to put a stop to the momentum that Satsu was starting to get off of a couple of rounds gone his way in a row. As we now go into round number 7, and look, oh look where we are.
Okay, we are in California. Not just saying the country.
Okay.
I'm telling you the state.
I see what you're doing.
I'm telling you the state, so I can make up for it, you know.
Fair enough.
But yeah, we should be in California. We had those stripes. We have a bike path here as well. The vegetation, everything screams like California to me. Besides that, California can be quite tough at times to get a good region guess down. It's the second biggest state after all, so still a lot of room to either gain or lose points.
Sheena looking down to Stockton, zooming out again. Now in Sacramento, jumping around a little bit, but they're in and around the same area. Satsu, though, south of the bay. Sheena, for the most part, stays north, but now hopping down towards the south as well. As the guess come through, it was up in Sacramento. He was there earlier. Still, close up to the spot. We'll tie things up.
California is the third biggest state. See, that's a GeoGuessr thing. I don't know.
It's gonna be the
when
fourth
I
biggest after
consider the
Greenland,
states, right? I'm not thinking of Alaska, because Alaska is just something you don't need to consider ever
Or Greenland.
on your state guesses.
Yeah.
I will leave that.
I'm a Danish person. I can make those jokes.
Else.
It's okay, guys. It's okay.
I'm not allowed to joke about it. You can.
As we head into round number 8, a crucial one at that. Let's see here. Both of them set around 2,000 points. And country, big enough. The big damages can come through as, oh, would you have it? We're back in the US once more.
You know, now I'm not sure. I don't want to shout out a state right off the bat. But I thought like the Kansas area, Oklahoma area is possible.
Well, let's see.
Somewhere in the Midlands. But
Sheena's
both
gonna
of
get
them do disagree. They're a bit further towards the east, and it's just along the border of Mississippi. They both actually kind of far along that border, you know.
It wasn't Kansas. It wasn't Pirate Kansas. It was Mississippi. As Sheena able to retake his lead. Now 5 times multipliers, though. This game can still easily swing both ways. Round 9 is where we're set. And Satsu, this is your time to strike back if you don't want to leave Sheena walking off with 3 points.
No, and this is another round which shouldn't decide the game. It could, though. We are in the UAE. And it is quite mountainous, so we should be somewhere on the eastern side. Now, if one of the players decides to go all the way north and one player is down in the south, it could be game, you know? With 5 times damage, I mean, Satsu is on 1.1k health. You can easily deal 1k damage here.
It would definitely be a rarity to have a UAE aim decider, but I'm all for it. I am all for it for sure. As they're both looking. I mean, you can see there. If it's the dam up on the left side, I'm not sure. It looks very specific what they're both trying to look for. Sheena maybe looking for train tracks. Sorry, mate, there aren't anyone nearby. As the guesses do come through, let's see if he's gonna get it. He's gonna be closer. Shouldn't be enough. Nah, not gonna. Oh no!
Still a fairly small country. I mean,
I was lagging for a second there. It looked
said,
like it was going into 1,000. I was like, wait, how is that so much damage? And it wasn't.
Also, doing my part here, my job as an analyst, they did scan for roads that go through mountains. That's why they hovered over the map. It's not they were looking for a place name or for something specific. It's just that you can somewhat make out the terrain on the map sometimes. And by that, I guess they just looked for a road that goes through the mountains. Because usually they go next to the mountains. But sometimes, you know.
For the 8,722nd time today, we head back to the US, and a deciding run at that. It is round number 10. Satsu, hands to the head, hoping, praying. He's right on this one. He needs at least 1,500 damage done to Sheena to make this a 1-1 game and take us into NMPC. Sheena is all the way up in Pennsylvania, so the distance between them is there, but Sheena is gonna be closer.
Getting the right state as well to end it off. I mean, what is there to do? I mean, it looked like Zatsu played bad, but honestly, Sheena was for the whole day, but he's still very locked in.
Yeah.
Playing very, very, very well.
Gotta wear that shirt every day, Sheena, man. It's, I don't know what it is, but there's some magic hidden in your player jersey to make you fully locked in. And what a bit of time to do so, too. I mean, knowing that we're getting close to the finish line here, with week 18 now being halfway done, or at least close there, too. It's getting scary for some of these teams up in the top, seeing a player like Sheena starting to play this well.
Yes, it is indeed, especially Zatsu. You know, Sheena, I mean, for both, it's still important. One player doesn't want to be too low on the leaderboard, one wants to maybe climb up the top 10, you know. So, no matter which position you are, no matter if you can't even make it anymore, I think it is still so good to see that they all still try and give 100%.
Yeah, no doubt.
Very nice to see. Yeah.
No doubt whatsoever. We have one more match coming your way in just a few moments. It's gonna be Yanik once again, this time around taking on Amaran. Two players who, as we said, I mean, are both, I won't say struggling, but trying to get out of the bottom of the leaderboard. And for Yanik, well, he just got himself a 2-0 against Pan. It wasn't the prettiest one, but it was definitely a decisive 2-0 victory for him. We'll see if he can come in here and repeat this performance against Amaran. So now, Gelotris, talk to me a bit about this German and Thai player taking on one another.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen Yanik playing, and I want to say I was very impressed by his pinpointing and scanning abilities, especially today. He did have the information for the rough region, or he knew the road or anything like that, but he also managed to scan very precise where he is in that given region. Amaran, also someone who's pretty good at moving. So this time I feel like the moving game could be very interesting here. And anything that's happening after that is written in the stars.
Well, soon it will be written on your screens as well. As you can see here, Amaran trying to claw back further out from the bottom of this leaderboard. And Yanik sat in a spot from where, I mean, it would take a monumental effort, but he could still, I mean, with a couple of really good games gone his way, claw quite a bit further back up the leaderboard with a couple of weeks still left to play. But here we go, into game one we are, as we head to Finland, it seems like. Yep, Yanik already there.
Correct. Yep, we should be in Finland, and it looks a bit more northern. I was talking about those low trees, thinner trees, which you see more towards the north in the Nordics. I would say we have that here, so should be somewhere along the north, and yeah. Other side of the country, but still getting the right rough area of the country.
Let's see now. It's round number 2 is upon us. We head to Japan. I kind of, you know what, come to think of it, I kind of like that we're getting all the US rounds now, when all the NA players and viewers are sleeping. than all of us European and Asian guys can sit
That's-
and giggle.
Actually, it's true.
Yeah, but
Especially
then-
we have Americans on the evening cast, and they
Exactly.
probably
never get
could
their
have
own
talked
country.
better about it than we do, but you know,
Yeah.
we try.
But they don't meme as hard as we
Good
Europeans
progress.
and the Asians do when we
I
see NA
guess.
rounds. So
Yeah,
good on us.
that's a plus.
It is.
And
See
it
now
is the same region again, by the way. Should be in Hokuriku this time. I still have it in my head. I don't need to double check and Google it. But look at that. Amaran is right on it.
Yep. Good guess.
Very good guess there.
Good guess come through from Amaran. Not that it amounts into all that much damage, with it still being very early days in this matchup, but still good to get proper warmed up as these two guys are walking down the street as well, getting those joints working, ready for the guesses to come.
Yes, and now we are in Romania. Given the architecture, especially the roofs, never mind. Now we have tile
Statina?
roofs, because starting off we had a lot of metal roofs, which are more like central and east in the country. But now I also see a couple tile roofs, so maybe we are somewhere central west or
So
central.
Yanik has one of these road indicators. There's the 114 and 546. Is that the road indicators, or what is he looking for here?
The 546 is the road number down at the on the side. The 114 is useless here. That's mile marker, like the mile. Yeah. So you are looking along the 546 road, if you can find it, and then you try to find Slatina or Deleni, are the towns that go along the 546.
Well, they're both in and around the same area, so would be minimal damage come through. A
Yeah.
little bit further to north, they would have been there.
There is
Looking good nonetheless.
Slatina right outside it. Don't know if it was pointing towards the south, but you know, maybe we were in the direction to it, but we're in a big curve on the road. That is possible.
Had Sheena been here, he would have been happy.
Yep.
Look at all these train
Would
tracks.
have.
By the way, this is just us
But-
making memes. I have no clue if he likes trains or not, but I like the idea that he
was
does.
making good guesses on them, so you would assume he knows something about railroads.
It does definitely help to line up positions every now and again, especially when you're out in the open, where you can see where they are.
But yeah, we are in Switzerland here. We have a German language, so we shouldn't be far south or southwest. We should be more towards the north of the country.
Can I again just say thank you for Amaran and Yanik taking their time in smaller countries, not just plonking and moving on. As a representative of a small country myself, I appreciate people, you know, strolling around for a bit before they just move on.
That is indeed something I also like. I also like to look into smaller countries, even though they don't matter too much in duels, because it's all based on distances.
Yep.
I still enjoy looking at countries that are not that big.
Let's see. Timer down to 0 once more as we head into round number 5. And even more train tracks. It really is. I mean, the US and train tracks is what today has in common. As we move on. I'm gonna have to go back and start counting. I feel like we've had at least 10 rounds right next to trains.
Yeah, definitely day to day, and also we are in Switzerland again, so we could be spawning at the same railroad span, maybe, but this time we don't have German language, so we should be further west in the country, given the looks as well. So now, if you know where in the west you get your railroads, we have the road number 30 here for Yanik. That's very good information, actually, because those numbers are very findable, and he is on it. He has Tavan. I mean, now he should look for a railway. If he finds it, he can get a very good guess. He finds it. He's in the town, getting closer and closer, adjusting it a little bit. But he's on the wrong
one
side.
station off. Maybe a couple, actually. As damage does come through. I do like to see it, though. Like to see it. They spent the entire round in a Swiss round. That's a rarity. And then somebody here ends our Swiss train track streak. As we head a little bit further to the south.
We do. And we do end up in Senegal here. Looking a bit more inland. Quite dry. Even though we have some pretty lush green trees that are growing in this desert. Let's see if they get to information. I mean, Senegal also contains good informations on their signs. Usually, I think that's just a thing in Africa in general. I feel like in Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, here in Senegal as well. I think the signs always contain very good information. Here and Asia as well. Asia also has a lot of information on their signs.
Yanik found a city name. Not sure if, well, at least he found a name that instantly committed him to Impact K. We'll see if that's going to be correct. Nope, not quite.
Oh,
there was a smile on his face initially. Now not so much anymore. I think he thought that he had something really, really good. He still wins the round, but maybe not by as much as he thought it was.
Yeah. Kind of hard to make a guess only based on the architecture and vibes there. And now we are in Greece.
What's the easiest way in cities to differentiate in Greece?
Area codes, and you look for trash bins. They usually say the district on the trash bins.
Okay.
But they say it in the Greek script, so.
So rip.
You
none
might have
Greek
to learn that, or you compare letters. I mean,
yeah.
Some of the letters are.
Yanik was 155 meters off and didn't 5k. Unfortunate.
Yeah, I think it's the map that doesn't contain the northern and southern points of the world. Because scoring in GeoGuessr is based on how the locations are spread across the globe. And usually on world maps you have a location pretty far north in Canada. And on the south, what was it? McMurdo Station, I think, has a location in the south in Antarctica. By that, the scoring will get a bit more forgiving. So you already 5k with like 165 meters or anything like that.
Unfortunate. Nonetheless, Yanik now moving over towards Oregon. We were down here last week, pretty much the exact same area. Yanik is now sat hovering, going up towards Canyonville. And he's being joined by Amaran. What are they seeing here?
Not much. I mean, this is a pure landscape and vibe guess. I think I didn't see any information on either screen. But the vibes are definitely on Yanik's side here, getting that west coast.
Big hit.
Correct, and it's 3k damage.
Yeah, big hit and a great time to get it through as well, coming into round 9 now. You really want to separate yourself. Should round 10 become the deciding factor? I feel like this game, I mean, having just gone from 2 games where it was pretty much done by 9 rounds played, this game feels like it's dragging on, but I like to see it. These guys both very even in playstyle right now, but now Yanik, off of that last round, separating himself and now hopping to New Brunswick.
Yeah, getting a quick guess down there. Maybe has a vibe for a specific region, New Brunswick, but yeah, I would assume they both end up there. But again, Yanik just getting the right corner of the province. That's a good guess, and Amaran is also giving him that GG for that great region guess.
Yeah.
Putting him down to 585 HP. Now, depending on the country size, I mean, it is a big country, but it is clear that we are in the central west or central north of the country.
So let's see how much distance is needed here. 40, yeah, you need 4,400 damage or around there if you're Amaran to try and win this round here in round number 10. Yanik, pretty locked in, and these does log in. 14 seconds now. What does Amaran do here?
Yeah, I would assume maybe he will try something extreme, maybe go far north or very far west.
Yeah, they're on top of each other.
But if you're on top of each other, I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. If Yanik is right on it, it is gonna be game.
Indeed it is, at least for the first one of them. Moving goes the way of Yanik, as we now head on over to No Move.
We go over to the next mode, No Move. No more moving around. They will both see the same stuff. And we start off. I mean, just doesn't stop today, does it?
Nope, it's full US galore.
See, maybe that's why I was biased and did shout out US out of
you were
nowhere
setting
on
this up to begin with. That's what was happening. I see.
Maybe.
GeoGuessr brought to you by. Yeah, exactly. That's the vibe we're working with today. As Yanik hops up the river a little bit. Should have been further towards the south, though, where Amaran was sat. Because just south of St. Louis is where the pin was placed. And that's going to be 700 damage taken on the side of the German.
Yeah, quite a difficult round to read and guess, but Amaran gets that one. So move over to a Poland round. We have those holy poles. The architecture also looks very Polish. Getting a region guess down in Poland is quite impossible, and this is just proving it.
All the way north. And this one didn't want to take the time to try and figure out exactly where they were. I feel like it's a big enough country that you can definitely get some good points in there, but felt comfortable with their central guesses, and comes to cost.
Yep, that's what we have seen and will continue to see a lot is just a central click in Poland, because it's really just so difficult. If you don't have mountains, it just can be anywhere really. I mean, there's a lot of small clues you can use, like different regional poles and lamps do exist. I do know that, but it's just a few people who really grind and learn that, and that's decent points here in Ukraine.
Definitely for being 200 kilometers off himself. Downtown Lviv is where they would have wanted to go, now knowing where the location was. As we go, oh wow, you're not gonna get a lot of info from down the tunnel.
Yep, pretty quick capital guess.
Skip.
I mean, the signage looks Spanish. That's why both players end up in Spain, for those who are curious how they did end up in Spain. Besides that, yeah, I mean, we are in a tunnel. Not a fun location to guess.
Definitely not. Definitely not. It's a tricky game. First into the Ukrainian forests, and now into a Spanish tunnel as we go with yet another forested location. This one way further out in the open, though, as Yanik, heads towards the northern coast of Norway.
Don't know if we are far north. I could see this even being further, like, west on an island. But he seemed confident.
It does.
And there's a reason.
Yeah. Could have gone even further. Would have been better. But he's going to be satisfied with this one as well. Now coming into round number 10, sat at twice the health of Amaran. For the sake of Amaran, he needs to somehow turn this one around. It's looking to very comfortably go Yanik's way.
And again, this is a kind of similar round to the one where I said it could be Amazonas, Para, or Mato Grosso. But this time I'm more on the Para or Mato Grosso side.
We'll see if you're gonna be right.
So yeah, I do like Yanik's guess. He is pretty far north in Mato Grosso, still covering the possibilities in Para. Whereas Amaran is in Para, and it is indeed... It is quite a 50-50, you know, but you have to be right. You have to be right in Brazil.
What a turnaround.
Go with that 50-50 and be wrong. You will get punished in Brazil.
Definitely will. Big round for Amaran, taking this one into NMPC. He had one round left to try and make something happen, and he did exactly that. Now, 1-1 is the score. As we go into NMPC, straight down to Chile for Yanik, and Amaran is there to follow.
Finally, some NMPC. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, true. That is true.
And yeah, but that's pretty straightforward. We have the pole on the left, which is a Chilean pole. Looks pretty green, so you go further south. Amaran actually very far north. I don't know why he ended up there. Because it should be, I mean, given how green it was. In those terms, Chile is a fun country to guess. Because it literally goes from very deserty to very green the further south you go. So you can use that as an estimate where you are along the country. So even though it is a long stretch, it is very region guessable, and we are, who would have thought, in
America.
the US. I do like the southern guesses. Don't know where exactly along the south. It is Texas.
Yeah, both staying on the southeastern tip of New Mexico. Could have gone a bit further south, would have gotten them better positions, but pretty decent guessing with this one as well. As we head on in to round number 3. And I mean, coming in a couple of rounds ago, I would have said this is clearly Yanik when he was playing very, very well. But now, yeah, Amaran starting to claw back here. Starting to look more promising.
Yeah. Again, year round shouldn't matter too much points-wise. But let's see what they end up guessing. Yep.
Oh, wow. They were practically set on top of one another.
Yep. I mean, that industrial area, I can tell you why they did end up there. There's a lot of, like, sandy roads there. Like, just paved roads with sand over it.
Yep.
Might be the reason why they both did end up there. And now we should be... Is it south of Newman? What is the driving direction? We are driving
left.
North. So Yanik is on the right road. I did learn those roads last week to differentiate between them. They are both on it though. No, Amaran is south of Newman. That's wrong because that road drives to the south.
Yeah, 200 kilometers in between them as well. That's going to be 1,500 damage. Now, it's at 2,500 below Yanik. I mean, we saw it in the previous game. It just takes one really good guess and a mistake on the other side. And the table is completely flipped upside down. So what do we have here?
It does indeed, and we ship in India. Fairly flat, which puts you more towards the north, but there are definitely big valleys like that inland too. But my vibes are somewhere northwestern. Not too far though. So we have Yanik
bouncing up and down and up and down and up and down. Flip a coin, my man.
I mean, I fully agree with Yanik. I mean, that's literally what I just said. It could be like inland, but by the chances we should be northwest.
The distance between these guesses
does he go for the hedge or does he go for a commitment? That is what he has to decide on now. And let's see.
It's gonna be costly, no doubt. You can see Amaran not really daring to go too far out on the edge of the country, as he could have gone further south. Yanik, frustrating loss in that one. Should not be enough to be game, but a big hit that I guess he could have avoided had his coin landed differently.
Yeah, I mean, he was high up north at some point, and he was also further south at some point, so I think he can be happy with where he ended up. Not losing even more health than he already did. And we have a basketball court here.
Wow. So therefore easily Amaran wins, or what?
Should be. Like, you see it a lot in the Philippines. It's a big sport in the Philippines, basketball. But that's only giving you the country. Now, where? I have no idea. But it seems to be a bit further north.
From now on, you will never forget that basketball court again. As Yanik, well, he was sat in a comfortable 2,500 point lead just 2 rounds ago. Now, sat below at 1,290. Needing something great happening, but what do you get here? Out in the wilderness in Russia, potentially. Oh, Amaran, my mans.
I like considering...
Denmark. Not for the guess, but for the fact that he just clicked there for a second. It was more tribute thing.
On the span on the border of Ukraine and Russia.
No, my man.
Yeah, okay.
No, my man. You can't go Denmark in a route like that. Come over. I'll teach you. I'll show you. He's even shaking his head. I get it. I get it. I hate it when Denmark is wrong, too. But in this time around, it was. And Yanik comes out victorious here once again.
Yep. He was not happy about that round at all. Amaran really had his hopes up there for a reason. I mean, he had Yanik down on health, especially after that India round. Really striking back there. And you could see Yanik standing up and sitting straight, and he really had to lock in because he knew he is on a span to maybe lose the game.
Definitely.
But he's just, getting that. Sometimes you just need to get the right country. He did there, and that was enough to win.
Yeah, it got incredibly close down at the end there. Yeah, I don't even know. When you've played this many rounds against one another as well, when it's bounced, like the scoreline has bounced back and forth so much, it's incredibly draining. And obviously, them having been playing for the last 3 hours now, it's tough on these guys and their mental to try and focus all the way through. And a bit of a slip up there for Amaran, causing him the matchup. As we see the overall, or not the overall, but the scoreboard for today's matches, Harrier here in the end of it, able to take on Flyme, win that one 2-1 as well. So ending off the day, or at least the beginning of the day, with a victory after his 0-2 loss to Sheena.
Yeah, only 2 NPC games today. It's quite interesting. A lot of 3-pointers. I mean, that will definitely... I mean, at least on our broadcast. If you look at the secondary matches, there was every game going to NPC except Clement Flyme.
Yeah, no, that's actually
every
true.
Single game. Wow.
We missed
Really
all of them.
had the content flipped here. So, as I already said, make sure you also check out the co-streamers.
Oh, yes.
A lot more matches there as well. But overall, I was very happy with the games on our end. We had some very interesting rounds. And especially with all the 3-pointers, I would assume we will have a lot of switches on the leaderboard.
Oh yes, no doubt. It's gonna be spicy. And also, what's gonna be spicy is tonight's matches. Because I don't know if you guys have followed on social medias, but we have some pretty heavy-hitting matchups coming your way tonight. I'm not sure if we're gonna get a graphic for them or not, but I can tell you this much: that Kunzes and Linky are playing tonight, at least as far as I've been told. So that's definitely a match to look out for. It will start in exactly 4 hours and 7 minutes. Not that match, but the later broadcast. After this show is over, in just a few moments, I'm going to hop over. I'm going to have a chat with Harrier, as a matter of fact, on my Between Two Plunks broadcast. It's going to be a short one today. And then, of course, later tonight, it's going to be a great showing of great matches between some of these top players in the world.
Indeed, yeah, I'm somewhat looking forward for it. It's on the mainstream, and as you do know, I do co-cast the other streams, so I won't be able to watch that. But I will definitely look back at that game, Blinky versus Kunzes. Really a game of one of the best players out there. I mean, you can see it from the leaderboard. Blinky with 82 points.
Yeah, it's
Kunzes right behind with 79, and both those players facing each other later in the evening today is some hype.
Very impressive, that's for sure. Clement climbing up the leaderboard, malfunction doing the same. Look at that, 3 players sat at 53, 54 is just 1 spot up, and then from captain up to Sheena. After Sheena's great performance today, he's been able to separate himself by a little bit. Sheena now into the top 12 for, I don't know if it's the first time he's there, but first time in a little bit at least, trying to overtake the 2 Australians set in front of him.
Yeah, indeed. I'm also looking a bit further into the list. Is there someone? Oh, here
So
we have the
this
regional ones.
Yeah, exactly. This is the list that's really interesting, because look at the 6th place spots, and for EMEA, the 12th place spot, and the players sat right below. That's the cutoff. That's the interesting thing. At risk, you can see in APAC, it's Karania and Kent trying to catch up to Eamonn and Spaghetti's spots effectively. In Americas, it's Ocean Man trying to catch up to Orlando. And then in EMEA, we have 51, 51, 53, 53, 53, all the way up to Lenley. And then we have Mada, V89, and Amani and Pan on the hunt. So a lot to play for here over the next weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're on that edge, it can be very interesting games. Who's on it? I mean, if you look, Mada is at 50 points.
Yeah.
And malfunction on 51. So it's very, very close there.
Definitely close. Now we do have an interview ready. And we're going to hear from Amaran about, well, I mean, anything that is Amaran. Welcome to the show, Amaran. It was an incredibly close match. I mean, just first of all, thanks for joining us. It's amazing to have you here. A really, really close match that we just had between you and Yanik. Talk me through a bit, like, how did you feel playing through the match? Of course, the result we all saw, but I feel like it was a game that could go both your way and his way many times in that game.
Yeah, okay, thanks for having me here today. Like, the match was, like, really close, and I felt like I played better than, like, I normally play.
Mm-hmm. Were there any rounds in particular that stood out to you? I will say, I mean, we talked a bit about it, but of course for me, being from Denmark, and you guessing Denmark in that final round, it felt really bad, because I was like, no! But were there any rounds in particular that stood out to you, that you think back on now could have maybe changed things for you?
Yeah, like, I mean, the the moving game, like I couldn't do anything about that. But yeah, if I could change the result of one round, that would be like obviously the last one. Because like that was, I don't know why it felt Denmark to me. Like there were bushes and everything.
Any questions
Yeah,
from you,
so
Jill?
a little bit of
Anyone
blunder
ask?
there.
Yeah, I mean, you played very well, Amaran, to be fair. I mean, it was really just 1 or 2 rounds
Thank
that
you.
made the difference there. But not only regarding the matches, I have general questions about you. I would be happy if you tell us about your favorite game modes, if you have any favorite countries, how long you've been playing, because I don't know that much about you than I do about other players. So maybe that could be interesting, not only for me, but also for the viewers, maybe.
Yeah, my favorite game mode is moving, and my least favorite game mode is NMPC because I barely play it. And my favorite country is for moving Japan because I know the language, I can read the signs, and I know like many towns in Japan.
Oh.
And for the other modes, maybe Botswana because I've put a lot of time like into learning the country, and I've been playing for like 2 years and a little bit. I've been playing since like the beginning of the 2023.
Oh, interesting.
I
I mean, it's
wanna-
also nice that you look into Botswana, because a lot of players don't. A lot of players overlook
Yeah.
Botswana, but I think it's worth learning that country. It is fairly big.
I
Yeah,
want
it's
to
a
ask
really
you,
interesting
Amaran.
country.
I want to ask you, being, if not the only, then one of the only Southeast Asian players in this tournament, obviously in Oceania, you have Australia and New Zealand, but one of the only players in the entire community representing that, because I know from other esports, other games, there is a very strong national community behind the players that do make it through to some of the professional leagues in different games. How does it feel being like the Thai representative in the World League?
Yeah, I feel like really honored to play in this event and to represent my country, and like all the players in the community like give me like lots of support, and I want to thank them for that.
Well, I mean, then you're pretty much skipping through the last thing I was going to say, because I was going to say, do you have anyone that you want to give shout-outs to? You can do it in English, you can do it in Thai, in Japanese, if you want to. If you have any shout-outs you want to give, before we let you go here, the mic is yours.
Okay, like thanks for the support everyone ขอบคุณที่ช่วยเชียร์ช่วยส่งแรงใจให้นะครับ
Would you look at that multi-language? I love to see it. Love to see it. Amaran, thank you so much for joining us. Hope that we get a chance to both watch you play and talk to you again in the future.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great to have Amaran in here from one of the players from Southeast Asia. Always loving the community in multiple esports. I mean, they're so incredibly passionate, so incredibly supportive. So great to have him here playing. Even if the game didn't go his way today, as you were saying, Gelotris, it was really 1 or 2 guesses it came down to. Could have easily been his match.
Yeah, it could have definitely. I mean, we had a couple of matches today, I wanted to say, where it really came down to like 1 or 2 guesses, and that's really why consistency is so important in this game.
Definitely, definitely. Now, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but now let's reveal it to you. Tonight's schedule, and look at these matchups. Consus Debray into Foul Enley, into Blinky Consus, into... I'm not even going to read the rest of them. This is insane. Tonight's matchups are going to be through the roof.
That is absolutely insane. It's so hard. I mean, obviously, the no-brainer is Blinky Consus, but... by that, you overlook how many more really, really hype matches there are in the evening today.
The fact that we're getting Kratsu MK off stream, and they had arguably one of the most insane games ever played in the quarterfinals of the GeoGuessr World Cup last year, that's going to be a banger. There's just non-stop. Kratsu captain to begin things as well. Guys, you know where to be tonight. That's for sure, because there's a lot of good GeoGuessr coming your way.
Definitely. And if you want to catch any game that's not on the main broadcast, check me out.
Oh,
It's gonna be on
check
my-
out Gelotris.
It's gotta be on my channel. I'm co-streaming everything that isn't on the mainstream. So if you are interested in those games, tune in, say hello. I usually don't talk about the games. I yap to my chat mostly on my stream, so if you maybe want to ask me some questions or just want to yap.
And if you get lucky, you get to see a second Geolocher standing in the background looking at the first Geolocher. That's going to be the best experience
There
of all of them.
will be something.
Well, that is going to be it for us here in the first seeded games today. You just saw it there. You know where it's be tonight. It's always a great show when GeoGuessr is playing here on Sundays. Now what's going to happen is we're going to round off the show here. Then I'm going to hop over on my stream and have a chat with Harrier. So if you want to hop over and hear what he has to say about his GeoGuessr career, by all means, come on over and say hi. But until then, I think we're good to call it for this first section of games. So thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in. We'll see you for more GeoGuessr tonight.
Goodbye.
Dear fans of GeoGuessr, it's time for us to explore the world. Come and support your favorite players as they fight it out in the virtual boxing ring. The prize? A ticket to the World Cup. This year's major locations are Japan, inside the iconic Tokyo Tower. United States at DreamHack Dallas, one of the largest gaming festivals in the world. And finally, Sweden at the newest gaming festival, Glitched, in Jönköping. Go to geoguessr.com/World Cup for more information. We will see you there.
I got a chance to see Blinky lift the trophy after that insane grand final. With 2025 right around the corner, I have an idea.
GeoGuessr 2025 World Cup. Denmark. Let me show you what Copenhagen has to offer. We have historic buildings. World-class dining. We got the best beer in the world. Presumably. I welcome you to Copenhagen and the KB Hall, the venue of the 2025 GeoGuessr World Cup Finals.